Hello, and welcome to Mess World, a podcast dedicated to discussing the highs and lows of pop culture every month. My name is Jessica DeFino, and I write the newsletter Flesh World.
And I'm Emily Kirkpatrick, and I write I Heart Mess. How's it going?
And we're back. It's
We're
good.
back.
I'm happy to see
It's
you. I feel
good.
like
I'm
this
happy to see
this
you
month has
too.
been so busy. We've barely
No,
gossiped about
we've
our
we've
industries.
we've barely gossiped. We've barely chatted this week. I mean, this week. Oh my god. Oh, that is the evidence of what this month has been like for me. It has been so busy, and it also, I don't know. I was thinking about it earlier because I was like, oh, did Jess interview MJ this month? And I was like, oh my god, that was this month.
That was
It
like a
feels like
couple weeks
so
ago, and
long
it
ago.
feels like
I
a really
know.
long time ago.
It feels so long ago. I don't understand. This month has gone by so fast, and also it's been an eternity. It's very strange.
Mhm.
The Met. I
I
guess
feel
that's the
the
nature of
same.
the Met Gala and like having a job.
I know when I was like putting together some notes for this episode, I was like, oh, obviously we have to talk about the Met Gala. And it is so far out of my mind already that I'm like, I
Yes.
cannot believe that was a few short weeks ago.
No, it feels like it happened last year, and it's yeah, the the most boring Met Gala in history, and also a rich text for yours truly. Always,
Speaking of things I'd like to ignore entirely, but I'm not going
please.
to. Marc Jacobs Beauty. Have you seen it? Have you seen the
Of
new Marc
course, it's
Jacobs Beauty?
back. It's
It's
back.
back,
The girls are
baby.
clamoring. They're clamoring for the new beauty goods.
I
Yeah, I've seen it.
actually feel like I had no idea that Marc Jacobs Beauty was so beloved back in the day.
I had an
Um,
inkling.
it
Maybe
was
just
like
because
fine, but I just don't remember
I think
a
in I
huge
think
hype.
in I think in nostalgia it's grown exponentially. You know
Yes.
what I
In
mean? Like at the
hindsight,
time
it's much more popular.
I think there
Well,
were
'cause it
certain
closed.
products.
It couldn't have been
Right.
that beloved.
Right. I think there were
Yeah.
certain products that were always like cult favorites is kind of my
Mhm.
memory of it, but it
Yeah.
certainly wasn't like a huge splash at the time.
Yeah.
I also think that it's the campaigns that he did it were quite
Mhm.
impactful. Like Jessica Lange to
Yeah.
me for Marc Jacobs Beauty was like
Oh, yeah.
enormously impactful.
I
And
love
so I think
her.
that those image I also obsessed with her. I think she's like an icon of all icons, but I
Mhm.
think
Mhm.
maybe it's that those images have been so enduring that like there's
Yeah.
also a feeling of more nostalgia for him.
Yeah. So, anyway, Marc Jacobs Beauty closed in 2021, came back this week. It's all new products though, so it's not like relaunching, it's basically a whole
Yeah.
new brand, and the brand is very, packaging forward, I would say.
Mhm.
It's like the products have like this artsy sort of toy-like childhood aesthetic, very
Cute,
Jeff
some might
Koons
say.
actually. Oh,
Cute.
it's cute. It's definitionally cute for
Yeah.
sure. And it's like all of the icons on the product packaging, there's like hearts and stars and flowers are kind of they look like mylar balloon, like mini mylar
Oh, it's
balloons.
very Daisy, his
It's very
perfume
Daisy. It's clearly
line.
inspired by the Daisy packaging because Daisy is like the most successful product that Marc Jacobs
Yeah.
Beauty has ever put out.
And I would
But
say
it's
Jeff
also
Koons is like the most
Jeff Koons
successful commercial artist of all
completely.
time.
And it's so the Coons reference is so funny to me because I feel like a pretty generous analysis of his balloon dog sculpture is it's about taking this sort of like disposable silly object and magnifying it to like a more appropriate size, like vis-a-vis the cultural
Mm,
relevance of like stupid disposable objects.
right.
And
It also
and
feels
then
very
like
like capitalist Dada to me.
of course, yeah. Yeah, and it's like taking this like silly object of not much significance and putting it into like a high art framework and then like pricing it accordingly. Like it's about making
Yeah,
something so ridiculous, so expensive. I think it sold for like 58 million. Like its size symbolizes like excess and
yeah,
wealth, and the mirrored finish is about like our self-obsession and like seeing ourselves in
yes,
all of these objects and building ourselves through these little objects.
totally.
So it's just so funny to me to see Marc Jacobs Beauty like take that aesthetic and miniaturize it again. Like
Yes.
take
Wait,
all these like high art elements and make them again disposable, mass-produced items that like literally and figuratively are
yeah.
reflecting our obsession with beauty.
Can I just say two random thoughts that I
Yeah.
just had? One is here's a piece of lore about me is that when I worked at the Daily Mail, we worked in a building with a Jeff Koons dog in the lobby.
Really? That's so funny.
Yeah, so I would have to walk by it every day. Well, every night on my I work the night shift. Every night on my way to
Mm,
work there, and I always thought like, how fucking stupid. How stupid is
that is
that?
I
Also,
like,
just
it's
to
not
like
my
be making
fave.
no, not my he is truly could not
No.
he's nowhere close to my favorite artist list, but also
No.
just like I don't know, and there's something about like not making any money and like having to walk by a $58 million balloon dog every day that's like so
Yeah.
soul crushing. But also when you were talking about mirrored finish, it just reminded me of another Marc Jacobs perfume, which is Bang. Do you remember Bang?
I do remember Bang.
Because the packaging was very like emergency blanket, like reflective,
Yeah.
you
Yes, yes,
know, like
yes.
mirrored like a Jeff Koons, I
Mirrored
would say.
chrome. Yes,
Yeah.
that's like a big
Anyway, I
part
just thought
of his packaging thing. Yeah.
similar aesthetic.
Super similar aesthetic. Also, the product names of these new products are very sexual,
Oh.
especially for such like toy-like objects, which I guess is like apt with the Daisy reference. Like a big part of
Mhm.
Daisy perfume marketing has been like this Lolita image, like youth and innocence, but make it sexy sort of thing. Like I
Totally.
remember there was controversy around Dakota Fanning being like a child
Yeah,
and
yeah, when she
posing
starred in the Marc
suggestively with
Jacobs campaign
Daisy. Yeah.
with Daisy
Um,
and for the fashion line proper. Yeah.
oh yeah. Yeah. So I mean, that's like in the background of Marc Jacobs Beauty, but these new products first, we have Money Shot highlighter,
I
which
love that.
is so in line with what I have called wet dream beauty, like trends that like directly or indirectly reference semen as a
Yeah.
beautifier. Um, so yeah, there's a lot of that, and the phallic references don't stop there.
Yeah, for
The
sure.
lipstick has like a little heart on the top of it, like a
Oh.
mylar balloon heart
Oh.
of the packaging, and it's called Heart On lipstick. Heart
S-
On lipstick,
Listen,
but
these are good
heart on.
names. He's killing it.
I don't think
I
so. I
love
think
it.
they're so silly and just
Of
like,
course they're silly. Of course they're silly, but if I
but like
have to have a
not
silly
in
horrible
a
name.
yeah. I
Also, I will
guess
say, like,
so.
Marc Jacobs has always very much been, like, peripheral to the adult entertainment industry, I would say. He
Yeah.
has always been
Yeah,
kind of, like,
that is true.
circling that aesthetic. His ex-boyfriend was a famous gay porn
Yeah.
star.
Mhm.
I don't know, Bang also,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
played a lot with the imagery of pornography, and it was him nude with,
Yeah.
like, just the bottle over his dick. I don't know,
Yes,
Marc Jacobs
okay, I'm
has always,
remembering
like,
this.
played in this, like, sexual realm, I feel like.
Yeah, this
I
is
understand
true.
what you're
And
saying.
I mean, lipstick is always playing in the sexual realm too. Like
Absolutely.
this really
Absolutely.
reminds me of, you know, my least favorite
Isamaya,
Isamaya French lipstick,
the
like
penis
the penis
lipstick.
lipstick that was just shaped like a chrome cock and balls. And then
It could
last
be so
year,
much worse, you see?
it could be so much worse. Last year, Half Magic, the makeup brand Half Magic, promoted their lip plumper with the phrase, "Are you ready for a lip boner?" So there's like a
I think
lot
that's
of
worse. I think that's way
oh,
worse
it's
for some
way
reason.
worse. It's way
A
worse.
a
And
lip
I mean, like,
boner actually is like a gross, a terrible idea to me. A heart on, I don't know.
I know
Maybe I'm
hard
being
on is
desensitized.
yeah, I know. I think lip boner is much worse than hard on. I think hard on is like fine
If I have
comparatively, but
if
it's
I have to rank them.
fitting into this sort of like wider
Yeah.
lipstick as phallic object
Mm,
trend.
yeah.
Um,
All very deep throat.
and yes, so sort of related. I'll bring it back. I'll bring it back around to phallic imagery that I just wanted to mention here too. The singer from Cobra Starship has launched a men's beauty brand called Brotege.
Cobra Starship. First of all,
I
I
know,
haven't heard
I
that
know.
name in an eon,
I
but thank
know.
you for
John and
bringing
I
me right
just
back.
listened this morning when I was talking about this Brotege line, and I was like, oh wow, I haven't heard this
What
in
was their
15
hit?
years. I
Cobra.
know they did that one song with Leighton
Okay, thank you.
Meester,
That's literally
Good
exactly what I
Girls
was
Go
thinking of, and
Bad
I was
or
like, "Am I
something.
crazy, or are they good girls go bad?" They're
No.
good girls. That's
Yeah,
their
yeah.
claim to fame. Obviously.
That's
Okay,
their claim to
thank
fame. Well,
you.
now their claim to
I'm
fame is
back.
Brotege, and they launched a line of lip balms this week. And the lip balms are named after what they call outlaws, but one of the lip balm names is Mikhail Kalashnikov. Is that how you say his name?
Okay. I don't.
Kalashnikov. Mikhail Kalashnikov, who invented the AK-47. So
What?
like they just released a lip balm named after the guy who invented the AK-47, and the tube of the lip balm is a
Is
brass
it gun?
base that is modified from actual shotgun shells.
Oh, I was hoping it was gun shaped. I was
No,
hoping it
no,
was a gun
it's
you
bullet
put
shaped.
to your
Oh
mouth.
my God, Emily, genius,
People need to consult me.
genius.
You
That
every point along the description of the story, like you've lost me anew. Like, can we just rewind for a second? So the band is
the band
releasing
Cobra
lip
Starship, the
balms.
singer of the
The
band.
singer of
I
the
forgot
band
what his
is
name is.
releasing.
So it's
Okay, but
lip
he
balms.
as a sole entity is
He
releasing.
has a solo
This is a
entity,
passion of his.
has a men's beauty brand called Brotégé.
Oh right,
And I
okay,
guess
protege,
it's
protege.
existed for a while, and they had like sunscreen was their first
Okay,
product, and now now the brand is launching lip balms named
also
after the man
protege.
who invented AK-47.
I'm already like I'm sorry. Each detail is just getting so hung up on
I
it.
know.
But so protege, I'm lost again. I'm lost at the portmanteau. So it's
Yeah.
it's a bro who's a protege. But like, what is protege?
I think they
I'm
were just
overthinking it.
doing
I'm
a
sorry.
play on words that like doesn't have any larger
Okay,
significance. When
and
I
that's
was
my
reading this
mistake for
article
thinking it
about it,
might.
no, I was reading this article and I kept saying in my head brotege. And then
Right,
like
protege.
in parentheses in the article it was like pronounced as like protege.
Okay. Uh,
So and I
okay.
was like, okay,
I need to
protege.
let it
But
go. Yes, of
yeah,
course, and of course, it's named
we're not going to
protege,
get
and
any
of course, he's
sense
releasing lip
here.
balms. Yeah.
Of course he's
I would
releasing
do,
lip
and again,
balms
I do wish
named
the lip balm was
after
shaped like a gun.
gun makers put in bullet casings.
Well, it's got to be
Um
manly, It's got to be like a
It's gotta
rugged,
be manly,
individualistic.
but it's also just such a funny callback to just regular lipstick. So, like,
Yeah,
there is debate
right,
about this, but some historians have said that bullet-shaped lipsticks became the norm after World War I when bullet
right,
manufacturing facilities, like, weren't needed anymore, and they were
right,
transformed into cosmetic facilities, which also, like, conveniently kept people, good at making bullets for the
right,
next war.
right.
Like,
For when
the
we do,
machinery
yeah,
was still going.
pump it along,
And
yeah.
like I think um what's her name? Helena Rubinstein, her like early cosmetic line, she was like pretty clear about the fact that she wanted her lipstick to look like a bullet. So this is just like par for the course
Right.
in
And it is
lipstick.
funny
So
when
it's
you think
funny to like
about the red. The red is like blood. I don't know. It's very interesting.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Completely. But to bring it back to the penis, I have
Sure.
to quote
I'm sorry.
Freud, who said Freud says that all weapons and tools are used as symbols for the male organ. So the bullet
Naturally.
and the gun both are symbols of the phallus.
Right. And the
So
mouth, the
lipstick,
yoni.
yes, exactly. Lipstick has always been sort of a phallic symbol,
Sure.
and Marc Jacobs is just making that obvious in his naming
Yeah.
conventions.
Good
And
for
that was
him.
just a big loop in my mind that I needed to
Yeah.
talk about.
Absolutely. Gorgeous.
Yeah.
Stunning. It always comes back to the penis.
Always comes
We
back to the
never
penis.
escapable.
Mm,
I mean, speaking of, are we ready for
mm.
there's a bit of a
Yeah.
penis in my topic as well. It's an
Oh,
accidental one,
okay.
but it's present. So I
Love an
wanted to
accidental
talk
penis.
obviously, it's kind of my whole business. Um just wanted to talk about a strange trend that I've once again manifested that I've scared myself with, which is like conjoined twins, or the aesthetic of conjoined twins is trending. And as
Uh-huh.
always, it very much started out as fully a joke that I was making
Yeah.
because Julia Fox wore this turquoise dress to an Elizabeth Taylor AIDS Foundation event. And the dress um, had this like built up shoulder that was so built up, it was as high as her head. I should say
Yes. Okay.
a one shouldered gown, asymmetrical one shouldered gown,
Mhm.
and the shoulder where the dress was built up to the height of her head, and
Mhm.
it looked incredibly phallic from the front, incredibly like
Yes.
comically circumcised penis from the front in a way that I genuinely don't understand how they even how it even happened, and then once it happened, how nobody saw it because it's like all I could see. It was like a very
That's so
strange
funny.
optical illusion of the gown. But anyway,
Mhm.
I made this joke in the newsletter that the look was like very Sarah Paulson in season 4 of American Horror Story, which is of course
Mhm.
the problematic season of Freak Show, in which she
Yeah.
plays Bet and Dot Tadler, which are conjoined twins, and it very much looked like Julia Fox was like hiding her conjoined twins' head underneath the shoulder pad because even I mean we'll have a
Oh
photo in the
god.
video version of this so everyone can see what I'm talking about, but it's like and there was something about whatever was underneath the fabric, like propping up the sleeve, actually kind of like had a head shape. I don't know how to explain it, but like it
Yeah.
looked kind of um cranium. And so yeah, so there was something Bet and Dot Tyler happening, and I made this joke. And then the very next week, we get the music video for Runway from The Devil Wears Prada 2, of course, sung
Oh,
by
I
Lady
haven't seen.
Gaga. Oh, I haven't seen either because I don't want to punish myself, and I just know that it's gonna
Mhm.
it's like it's a movie that shouldn't make me as angry as I know that it's gonna make me, so I'm like, "Why don't we
Mhm.
just opt out and I, like,
Yeah.
don't partake at all? Because it's like,
Yeah.
it's just gonna send me into a rage that I can't it's gonna be impotent, I can't do anything
Mhm.
with it. So it's like, let it go.
Yeah.
Don't subject yourself. And so I all I know is the music video of it, and well, of course, the things on the press tour that we've spoken about, the heinous things that they've
Mhm.
inflicted upon me. Again, things
Mhm.
that would make me angry, and so I'm opting out of the press cycle. But so they did a music video, and in the music video, Lady Gaga and Doechii are conjoined twins at one point where they
Oh,
are wearing a custom Loire skirt suit that's actually so gorgeous. It's like Loire is amazing. It's so
I like
beautifully made.
Loire. Yeah.
I really like him. I think he does really beautiful work. But this skirt suit is like so immaculate, just like tailored to within an inch of its life. And to do that for a piece of clothing that two people are wearing at the same time, I don't
That's
know, it's like
wild.
kind of insane. And also like
Yeah.
it's one of those moments I talk about this. I've actually let go of this thread in the newsletter, but in the early days of the newsletter, something I used to talk about obsessively because it drives me insane is like the true absence of good tailors in Hollywood. And
Mhm.
I don't understand how a whole community of people can't have
Mhm.
one good tailor amongst them who like knows how to properly
Right.
edit a red carpet look. Anyway, that's an old grievance that I've discussed at length. But again, it was kind of brought up anew when I saw this beautifully tailored piece of clothing for two bodies. And I was
Yeah.
like, okay, so he can do
Incredible.
it. He can do
Yeah.
it for two ladies at once, and you can't do it for one lady's body, singular body. Okay, I see how it is. Men too. Men are not exempt from this. Men actually
Yeah.
maybe are worse than
Worse,
women.
I
Like
would say. Mhm.
I would say the problem with famous women's clothing is it's always too tight. It's
Mhm.
overly tailored, I
Mhm.
would say.
Mhm.
And the problem
Yeah.
with the famous men's suits is it's not tailored at all. It's barely
Yeah.
touched by a steamer, in fact.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wrinkles
Lot of
abound.
wrinkles on these red carpets. Lot of wrinkles.
Lot of wrinkles, and I don't understand why. They are portable. I don't know if stylists know that, but you
Maybe
can buy
it's like
portable ones.
maybe it's related to, the Botoxification of the celebrity face, like, as we erase the wrinkle
We have
in
to
the
put them back
face.
into our clothes.
Mhm. There's,
You
like
have to look lived in
there's
some
some sort
manner.
of physics law about the amount
Yeah.
of wrinkles that must exist in time and space at any given moment.
That's beautiful. I think you
Um
should coin that. That's Jessica's law. If no wrinkles exist on the face, they must in equal
They
proportion exist in
must
the
exist
clothing.
on the clothes.
They will
Jessica's Law
manifest
sounds
somewhere.
like a, call this number if you see a child in a
It
car who's
does.
been
It
kidnapped.
really does. It really sounds like a child is
But I'll
being
take it.
abducted law. I think you're right though. There is some cosmic balance that has to be restored. Like if we can't have it on
Mhm.
the body and the face, it has to exist in the fabric. That
Yeah.
certainly seems to be the case visually anyway.
I'd rather have it the other way around, but
Of course, of course. I rather have pristine garments and wrinkled as hell faces. That's obviously
Mhm.
superior. Anyway, I forgot what I was saying. It doesn't matter. Conjoined twins are happening and I don't know why.
Mhm.
And I don't know. I already thought that was funny. And it's like, it is kind of the hyper real thing I've been tracking all year plus, I guess. But like transcended to this, like, I never really saw it coming for the head because the head is just like such a difficult thing to
Yeah.
duplicate. It isn't like tacking an arm
Yeah.
on or tacking a leg on
Mhm.
or extra
Yeah.
sleeves, extra pant legs. It is a
Well,
more extravagant.
yeah. It's not an extra head, but I would say the hyper real head is probably the most
Well,
normal head in Hollywood.
right. Right. I mean,
Facelift and
yes,
surgery
yes.
wise, but yes, it's not a double head.
Absolutely, absolutely. The hyper real head in that capacity, 1,000%. In my kind of like doppelganger duplicate
No,
freak
yeah.
reality, this is a new phenomenon.
Mhm.
But it does also kind of speak to that. It's like once you've perfected, or their version of like whatever perfected is, their own
Yeah.
faces, it's like, well, let's get another face to make it a problem and then I'll fix that. I don't,
Mhm.
you don't know. It is kind of
Mhm.
like that. It's like, let's invent
Totally.
new dimensions, new problems to
Yeah.
have. And I don't know. And we just saw hyper real bodies this month come like surging back in such an insane way. Like, I don't know. I kind
Mhm.
of thought we'd moved on from this bodies on bodies hyper real thing. But I was so wrong. I'm always
Mhm.
so wrong. I always think of like we've seen the last of it and it comes roaring back. I mean, we'll get into it, but at the Met Gala, of course, we had
Oh, yeah.
so many,
So
so
many.
many fake sexless nipples.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was so struck to it by it too because it's not just that we had fake nipples. It's like completely automaton nipple, like just
Mhm.
no real, no, like they're
Mhm.
gesturing to a reality that's not real. I don't know how to explain
Yeah.
it. It's like no areola, like just nothing about them is real.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense.
No, it does.
They're so artificial to like a preposterous degree. Like they are what would be on what's her name? I know that we talked about her before, but the Metropolis robot,
Oh, yeah, I don't
my
remember her name,
fave,
but I do remember talking
Maria,
about
Maria.
Metropolis, yeah.
It's very Maria. There's
Maria
something that's
Nips.
going on there. Yeah, very Maria Nips. And then also, which kind of I think what blew me away the most is we had Lizzo at the Amphar Gala at Cannes at the end of the month wearing a Robert One dress, who we also saw at the Met Gala and we've been seeing for a while now. But
Mhm.
he's kind of famous for doing these like fake mannequin bodies atop the body, often kind of like looming behind and over the
Yeah.
person wearing the dress. And in Lizzo's case, they were straight up just like forearm cuffs that ended in mannequin hands that sat atop her real hands.
So wild.
It was very, very wild, very strange. She also had fake nipples, I should say. She
Uh-huh,
also had the
uh-huh.
weird Maria nips that were fake, also fake pierced, very Chapel Roan of her. Um,
Oh,
they were fake
that's a
pierced
lot.
with it was a lot of look. That was my note for her in the newsletter. I said, "You're doing too
Oh,
much,
yeah. Yeah,
actually.
that is why I'm thinking it's too much because I read your
You're
newsletter and I was like,
doing
"You are
way
correct."
too much. Just pick a
Yep.
lane. Just pick a
Yeah.
detail, pick a thing." And it's very we'll get into that too, but it was very
Mhm.
Katy Perry at the Met Gala to me
Oh my
because it's just
gosh, yeah.
like pick a fucking lane, my dude. Like you don't have to do 20 different weird trends at once to make a dress interesting. Like it's actually very distracting and chaotic and feels like not intentional.
Yeah.
Like it actually
Yeah.
loses the thrust of like what's
Mhm.
interesting about
Yeah, the
doing a
impact of the
stunt thing.
one cool detail is,
Yes, gets totally lost.
diminished, yeah.
And that's how I really felt about that Lizzo thing. I was so struck by the fake hands on top of her real hands. I thought that was
Yeah,
so crazy. I haven't seen that in a
that
minute.
is wild.
And yeah, of course, as with all this hyper real stuff, I just think it's interesting, like this doubling of the physical body, this doubling of the
Mhm.
face, and like, of course, reflecting like a distance we feel from our own bodies in this day and age,
Yeah.
but also kind of like our own lived experience. Like our lived
Mhm.
experience is increasingly happening online, away from other people, and kind of as always, it makes me think of Naomi Klein's doppelganger and kind of our
Yeah.
digital avatars and like the fake us's that
Yeah.
us's is a crazy word that I just said. The fake us's that we're like sending out into the world as our
Yeah.
representation and the kind of the
Yeah.
real us that exists behind that
Mhm.
facade. I don't know. I find that very striking.
I do too. Yeah.
I guess I can talk about something else I found striking this month that I guess it's kind of related to the hyperreal body, in a way, is that heated rivalry star Nadine Bappa. She hosted the ACTRA Awards, which I believe is a Canadian ceremony, and she wore this dress designed by Sarah Daveron, who's a young, I think she's 23 years old,
Oh,
Canadian
wow.
designer, and the dress was covered in 540 teeth.
540 teeth?
Yeah, which I
Real
was
teeth?
Well, which I was
Oh.
very, very excited about until I
Mm.
found out that they're not real human teeth, they're resin
Yeah.
replicas.
I guess it'd probably be, like, unethical to collect 540 real human teeth.
Well, what
But
wouldn't
it's
be
like,
unethical?
if
What
you
if
can
you
get a BBL
crowdsourced
with
it?
fat from a cadaver, why can't you
Thank
use
you.
real teeth for a
Thank you.
dress, you know?
Exactly, thank
This is the
you,
world we're
thank
moving
you.
toward, I think.
Don't
Yeah.
limit my art. Let me express myself with dead people's teeth, god damn it. But I don't think it even has to be dead people,
Oh
you could use
god.
children's
No.
teeth,
Yeah.
you could use
We're
animal
all losing
teeth.
teeth all the
We're
time.
all losing teeth all the time, and I also think I think there's an ethical way to do it, like, just ask people for their old
Mhm.
teeth.
Of
Ask
course.
them.
Midge,
Crowdsource it,
my
compile
cat,
it.
just had surgery, and she had a bunch of teeth taken out, and I was like, "I want those teeth. I wanna make a
Yeah.
little necklace,"
Make
but
a little
they wouldn't let
teeth
me. They wouldn't let
necklace.
me take the teeth.
They
Medical
wouldn't
waste.
let you?
No.
That sucks.
I
That's
know.
stupid.
I
I
know.
know when Fran was a baby, her baby dog teeth fell out, and I was like, "Can I do something with that?" I kinda love that,
You should.
but I didn't do it. Well, it's weird because the baby dog teeth, they don't really look like teeth, is kind of what I
Oh.
decided in the end. Like, it's not really impactful because they're, like, very strange looking, and so, like, no one would really identify it as what it
Yeah.
is, and so it's, like, not really fun in a toothy
Yeah.
way.
Yeah, no,
I
it's
don't know
not
how to
the
explain
same.
it. Dog baby teeth look stupid. No offense to Fran, but they're not the ideal tooth to turn into a
Mm.
necklace. There is
Mhm.
this woman though that actually she's the only person who's ever advertised in my newsletter in my entire newsletter career, which I think is funny.
Mm.
This woman, Erica Weiner, she makes amazing jewelry. But one of the things she's known for is that she makes necklaces out of your children's teeth or your loved one's teeth, whoever.
Mhm.
And I
Oh, I
love
think
that.
you've told me about her before.
I've
I
I've
have the
always wanted one.
bones of a little baby duck that I wanted to turn into a necklace. So maybe she could help me.
Wow. I think she could. I think she could help you. What a confession. What a incredible pod-only confession everyone's getting
Yeah,
right
and
now.
I'm not gonna tell
Just
the
because the
story.
bones of a baby yeah, that's a mystery just for you. Keep that secret to yourself forever.
No, no,
That's
no,
amazing.
it's
No, it's
not as, like,
beautiful
dark
lore.
as it sounds.
I don't care. Don't let them know. Keep that lore to yourself. That's
Okay.
incredible.
You know, write in
That's
if
my
you're
secret
curious.
I'll never tell.
Maybe maybe we'll do a paywalled pod episode that's just about how I
Just
got a
about
hold
the
of these baby duck
skeleton.
bones.
I love that.
Um,
Anyway, you could make a dress out of it, and I would prefer it to this fake resin teeth. Anyway, I
yeah,
understand. I understand the volume of teeth that was needed. It's quite a lot. You have to dabble in plastic ones, but I just think it would have been more powerful with real ones.
yeah.
But I did want to also say I did appreciate the dress, despite the resin of the teeth. I did also
Mhm.
appreciate the dress because its construction actually taught me a new word because I was thinking that the whole gown, the way it's constructed, it looks like the underside of a mushroom cap. You know how they're like
Oh, yes. I know
gilled,
exactly what
I
you
would
mean. Yep.
say. And so
Mhm.
I looked up the word. It's hymenium. That's what that
Oh,
part of the mushroom is called, a hymenium. And so
Imenium.
it's very
I like
hymenium
that.
inspired, I would say, this dress.
Mhm.
And I just bring it up because we've just been having such a memento mori year
Yes. Oh my
of
gosh, yes.
2026, and I just think that's
Mhm.
very interesting. And I was thinking
Mhm.
back about, of course, Margot Robbie's hair bracelet. You might
Yep,
recall from the Wuthering Heights press tour that was supposed to be Emily
definitely.
Bronte's hair, but actually was like nobody's hair, which in
Mhm.
and of itself kind of feels like a potent metaphor for Emerald Fennell's Wuthering Heights,
Yes,
if I do say so myself.
completely. Yes.
And then I was thinking about Kesha on Call Her Daddy recently.
What is that?
It's a buzzsaw outside. Okay.
Oh, okay.
All right. Yeah, my
Mm.
neighbor broke their door, so they're getting a new door
Mm.
cut. So enjoy that sound. Enjoy
A
the
little
sound of the
ambiance,
squealing
you know?
buzzsaw in the background. I forgot what I was saying. Oh, on Call Her Daddy, Kesha revealed that she wears her own placenta in a locket around her neck.
Oh,
And I think that's
okay.
kind of beautiful. It's also kind
Yeah.
of beautiful because the story is actually that her mother like kept it in a drawer for like 20 something years.
Wow.
And then was like, "Oh, you
That is
want this?"
beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, like cleaning
Put it in a
something. I was like,
little
"Oh,
locket.
you want
"Oh, I
this
have your
placenta?
placenta here,
Yeah.
honey."
Is that something you might be interested in?" She's like, "Obviously, I'm Kesha. Obviously, I'm interested in that."
Yes, I
And so
want to
she
wear
just
this
ground it
placenta.
up. She ground it up and she put it in a locket.
Gorgeous.
And what did she say about it? She said something very fun. Oh, she said that she believes that wearing her own placenta gives her second sight and that it opens up her third eye.
Mhm.
And I
Okay.
love that for her. I believe her.
Sort of adjacent to the conjoined twin thing. You know, it feels a little bit like
Yes.
absorbing a twin in the womb or
Yes, it
something. I don't
does.
know.
I didn't even make that connection, but there is
Yeah.
something there. There
There's
is something there to
something.
that.
Yeah.
Wow. There is a Dot and Bet Tatler undercurrent to modernity at this precise moment. And then of course we have Cardi B's gilded, not so gilded umbilical cord.
Mhm. Yeah.
Naturally, just kind of being
Yeah.
the trilogy of our memento mori
Yeah.
situation. And yeah, I don't know. I was just thinking about I really obviously this is right in my wheelhouse and I enjoy this aesthetic and I enjoy where it's going. But I don't know. I was also just thinking about like it does feel kind of potent in like a post-pandemic, well, post, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Not post, not post, pandemic
Yeah.
world where it's like we've never even like taken a moment to like grapple with like the
Yeah.
extreme trauma and the extreme
Mhm.
loss of this like global event.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about it because somebody brought up the point about like 9/11 and the way that we like eulogize and memorialize this single tragic day in like
Mhm.
American history and
Mhm.
that we have nothing comparable for like a year of people's lives that was like fully lost and all the
Yeah.
millions of people that we lost. Like there is nothing kind of
Yeah,
similar. And
that's
it's like, and then
interesting.
there's like this lack of catharsis that we all
Yeah.
have
Mhm.
because we don't get to process and we just do have to
Yeah.
go back to life quote unquote normal after
Mhm.
going through that. Anyway, so I was thinking about like
Yeah.
acting out that kind of catharsis in this like fashion way of like creating these memento moris and like
Yeah.
I don't know, feeling closer to death than ever and like incorporating death into well, you know, in beauty and fashion.
I mean, it's everywhere in beauty. I was just gonna say this, like, reminds me so much of the more gaze stuff that I've been talking
Yeah, yeah,
about, where, like,
exactly.
death is,
And
like,
the cadaver fat, yeah,
hyper
for sure.
visible in the beauty industry, and yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that, like, since pandemic times, I mean, forever, but especially since pandemic times, it's just been, like, sort of mass death event after
Yeah,
mass death
yeah,
event, like, it's
totally.
the pandemic, it's genocide, it's
It's war,
wars
yeah.
all over the world, it's,
Gun violence, yeah,
gun violence, it's, you know, ICE in the streets, like, murdering civilians, and it's just
yeah.
it's
It's
right
January
there.
6th.
Exactly, I mean, it's everywhere, and it's just so incorporated into the day
Yeah.
to day, and it's become so visible that it's, like, just incorporated into the aesthetic. I don't
Totally.
know.
Totally. And then and simultaneously I feel like it's also this response to like again in the same way that the hyper real is that response is like feeling increasingly disassociated from nature and being animals
Yeah.
and the real world and
Mhm.
feeling like this gesture towards like a return to that like these are
Mhm.
real corporeal
Yes.
products and materials that like make us I don't know feel kind of forcibly reconnected with the
Yeah.
natural world, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Or
And then I was
reconnected
thinking
to, like,
like,
a body, if not our body.
yes,
Like
totally, totally, a body, yeah, a human, if not
mhm.
the human that you are. And yeah, and then I don't know, I was thinking about our conversation about chickens last month, and I was like, oh,
Mhm.
is that likewise a gesture back to the natural world and
Yeah.
exiting the digital and again re-inhabiting an animal, if not the animal that you are. I
Mhm.
don't know.
Yeah. I
It's
think that
all merging.
actually it actually is so related to what I wanted to talk about next, which is
Yeah.
tanning and, like, tanning in the sun and laying out in the sun as this sort of, like, connection to the natural world and, like, rejection of, um, artificially producing that,
And also,
um,
like, when you think about, I don't
effect? Yeah.
know, like a sunburn or something, I don't know, I always think about, like, kind of self-inflicted pain as this way of, like, feeling very in touch with your
Oh,
humanity and your body because it, like, leaves you
completely.
like, I think about getting a tattoo or
Uh-huh.
something, like, it leaves you
Yeah.
with no choice but to, like, be very present in the
Mhm.
moment, feeling the pain
Yeah.
of your body and recognizing that you have a
Mhm.
body that is feeling pain.
Yeah.
And so that to me is also
Or
very sunburn and
yeah.
tanning.
Yeah, or, like, making, psychic pain or emotional pain,
Yeah, yeah,
um, felt or, like,
yeah,
evidenced in the body, which we
totally.
see with so much. Like, that's definitely part of what's behind, like, the trichotillomania. I pick out my
Mm,
eyebrows, and I can't
mhm,
stop, and it's anxiety related and, like,
mhm.
doing reading on, like, the psychology of it, a lot of it is, like, sort of akin to self-harm where it's, like, something is
Mm,
happening in your
yeah,
mind, and in order to make it understandable and real, there's, like, a physical effect that happens so that you can like see and
Totally.
quantify your psychic pain.
Totally.
But okay, well, we just got real deep, and I just wanted to make a little joke about tanning. Um, so what I want to talk about is Allure magazine specifically and their coverage of the tanning boom. So they've been doing a lot of articles this month on the resurgence of tanning and why tanning is dangerous. And of course, it's linked to skin cancer. Melanoma is on the rise. I think melanoma is like the third most likely cancer diagnosis for women under 50. So it's a problem. So some of what they've published this month. 1, social media is driving the resurgence of tanning culture. 2, tanning beds are even worse than you thought. 3, please stop weaponizing the UV index in service of a tan. What will it take to get young people to stop tanning? How many times do we have to have the sunscreen talk? This is just like in the past month. And as I'm seeing all of these tanning stories, all I can think about is this tutorial I saw last year on the Allure website for a 10-minute sunburned makeup tutorial.
Ooh.
And also on their site at the same time, and right now, headlines like Sydney Sweeney is keeping the faux sunburn trend alive and well. Best self tanners for a natural glow that actually lasts. Best self tanning mousses for beach worthy bronze. 6 self tanners for we trust for a natural streak free finish. And I'm just like, these things are so connected. Like when you are promoting the second batch of articles, you're not just promoting the product, you are promoting an aesthetic and you are presenting this aesthetic as desirable. So the headlines that they're
just
using,
doing the
even as
PC
they're
way to
doing like
promote
the
it.
hyper real version, which is like self tanners or makeup, it's still glorifying the look of sunburn, this idea of a natural glow, something that lasts, like the beach worthy bronze, the like natural finish.
Yeah.
That is what you're selling. You're saying a natural finish is desirable and tanning is how you want to look. And like,
Yeah.
I've referred to this like the sort of product focused ways of getting this look as like hyper sun, the simulation of sunlight.
Totally.
But it's kind
But
of
it's
like
also just like, I mean, it's just like a cynical PC pivot. Also, you know what I mean?
yes,
Like
yeah,
they just know that they
completely.
can't promote actual tanning, but that's like
Mhm,
certainly what they've been doing for like
mhm.
forever. And then suddenly
Forever.
the science bears out like, oh, it's bad, it gives you cancer. And then they're like, okay,
Yeah.
so we can't promote that, but we have to keep promoting this aesthetic. So like let's just pivot to the fake
Yes.
way of doing it. You know, it's I mean
Yeah. I mean, I feel the same way about when like supposedly eco-friendly glitter started
yeah, yeah.
trending. Because it's like, if it is becoming a trend, it's going to increase the prevalence of non-eco-friendly glitter
Yeah.
because that is cheaper, more accessible, it's everywhere. So when we are like praising a certain aesthetic, it's not just the product that you're selling, it's the aesthetic in general that's getting popular and the downstream effects of that still
Right.
happen.
Same
So it's like
ends.
with
Yeah.
tanning, yeah, if you're going to promote the look of a tan as desirable, as a symbol of beauty, as a status symbol, as something that makes you look better or healthier, which is a
Yeah.
lot of the language that they're using, like then you are technically promoting tanning. You're saying like this is
Of
what you
course.
should look like. And the sun is just an easier,
It's
cheaper, more
free.
accessible way to get it.
Right.
It's
Right.
free. It feels
It's
good to be
outside.
out in the sun. You're getting
Yeah.
vitamin D. Like there are a lot of other benefits that come with it and problems as well. But it's just like, of course, people are going to tan if you say that this is the like hottest, sexiest
Yeah,
way
that's how you should look
to
in the
look.
summer, or there's something wrong
Yeah.
with you.
And it's also like, so these stories, these fake tan stories are like dovetailing with this Maha messaging of being
Mm,
anti-sunscreen and pro-sunlight. Um, and like also doing the work of promoting that in some weird way because it seems very aligned. Um, and I just like also think that this moment of the tan being back, like it's not a coincidence that
yeah.
Trump and RFK Jr. are like orange.
Deeply
Like,
bronzed.
yes.
Healthily bronzed, how dare
Yeah.
you? I'm
Yeah, I guess my
surprised.
point is just yeah.
I was
You're
just gonna say I'm
surprised what?
surprised that RFK hasn't brought back the I forget what they call it, like sunning your perineum. Is that what it was
Oh,
used to be
yeah.
called?
Mhm.
It seems like something
I
RFK is
feel
like
like he
absolutely
does.
doing. I
He
feel like he's
must be
doing it.
doing it. I
For
He's
those who don't
definitely
know, I'm
doing it.
talking about getting sunlight on your butthole.
Yeah.
That was a thing that actresses kept promoting for a while.
Mhm,
Like I remember Shailene
mhm.
Woodley talking
Shailene
about, but I feel
Woodley.
like
Mhm.
other people talked about doing it too as like part of their
Oh, yeah. It was
wellness
like a big
practice.
wellness practice for men
Yeah.
specifically too. There was a lot
Oh,
of, like,
really?
sunning your asshole stuff happening in
I
the
just feel like
men's
that's
wellness
so
space.
up his alley. I can't believe he's never mentioned it before as like something that he loves to do.
I know. I've gotta look into that because it does feel so on the nose
Deeply
for him.
RFK. I know.
Mhm. But, yeah, I guess my point is just, like, you can't be confused about why people wanna tan in the
Yeah.
sun if every other article on your site is like, "Here's how to look naturally tan, healthy, glowy, and sexy." Like,
And yet
you're
they
doing
will
it.
be
You are
and
doing
yet
it.
they'll be surprised by it for the
I
rest of
know.
time. They're like, "Oh, it's so
Mhm.
crazy. Where are people getting that
Why are
idea
people doing
from?
this?
It's
Oh,
nuts. We keep telling them not to."
you know,
Well,
but yeah, that's my little rant.
speaking of someone else who can't be stopped,
Mhm. Oh, I'm so
I
excited for
I
this.
I would like to talk about James Charles.
Yes.
Just a pet passion of mine. I wrote an essay for interview this month that's really like completely breaks with like all edit type of editorial that interview has previously done. They've never really just like written opinion essays before, but
Yeah.
I felt so passionately that I was like, "Well, I think we have to.
I love that this was the
I think
first one.
I have to write this and that we have to
Mhm.
publish it." And I ran it by Mel, and Mel was like, "Go with God, I don't care about
Yes.
this guy." If you feel so strongly about his cancellation, please. And I just think, again, that's what I mean when I was saying up top too. I just think it's cool like what we can do there.
Yeah.
I genuinely can't imagine anywhere else I've ever worked allowing me to publish a story like this,
Right.
even though it's like completely legitimate. Like
Yeah.
no one is ever going to work with James Charles. No one is ever going to feature him in the magazine. Like all of this stuff
No.
is factual. He has personally
Right.
admitted to it. Like there is no
Mhm.
speculation here. But the fact that like
Mhm.
we still just like cannot say stuff like this in media like drives me out of my mind.
Yeah. It's wild.
It's the same. I mean, this is different, but the same. But it reminds me of the conversations we've had about Dolce and Gabbana, the
Mhm.
conversations we've had about Alexandra
Yeah.
Wang. Is like, why can we not let go of these losers? Like,
Right.
why do we have to keep dragging them back into the public sphere and like acting like they're legitimate individuals that we have to pay attention to for some reason? We don't.
Totally.
Let
No.
them go. And basically, so my
Mhm.
title was enough with James Charles already because I've had
Perfect
enough.
title. Yeah.
I simply we have to like put him out to pasture. Like we have to stop talking about him. Like he is
Mhm.
so pathetic. He is such a loser. He is such a corrupt, just like morally impoverished individual. Like we really don't
Yeah.
need to keep pretending this man is famous and that he's worthy of our time or discussion.
Mhm.
The reason that it came up this month, it could come up every month because honestly he's doing something deplorable literally every month. But
Mhm.
it came to a head this month because basically he posted this TikTok where he was calling out her name is Amber Lendoff Vargas, and she is a former Spirit Airlines employee. Of course, we all know Spirit Airlines surprising everyone
Right.
like suddenly shuttered
Yeah.
this month, and which meant that like hundreds and thousands of people suddenly didn't have a job overnight, and
Yeah.
that is scary, and that is kind of the
Yeah.
nature of our economy at the moment as well. I would argue is like everyone's like kind of very scared about they're
Yeah.
like we're rapidly losing work, there's not
Mhm.
work to be had, and
Yeah.
prices are going up everywhere. And
Mhm.
so I think not unreasonably she sent him a cold DM, and she asked if James Charles, beyond multimillionaire by the way,
Mhm.
could send $1,600 to her GoFundMe after the airlines shut
Okay.
down. And Charles, James, we've been calling him Jimmy
James.
Chuck in Slack, which I really cracks me up.
I really like that.
It's like the most benign nickname anyone there. My
Jimmy Ch
associate editor has been calling him that, and it really makes me laugh every time, Jimmy Chuck.
Yeah,
So
it's perfect.
Jimmy Chuck decided that he was going to clap back at this former Spirit Airlines employee. And I already, right off the bat, that's a huge problem with me. Celebrities
Why?
who think they can
Why?
clap back is always like
Just like a
embarrassing.
private citizen?
Yeah,
Like,
and
is this a
it's always a fucking private citizen who has like 100 followers, and they're like, "I'm gonna show this bitch, like I'm gonna teach her a lesson today." And it's like,
That's
why?
horrible.
Why?
Yeah.
And why is that your mentality? It just makes me think of Chrissy Teigen and how Chrissy Teigen was on Twitter
Mhm.
for forever, just like
Yeah.
dunking on randoms and
Mhm.
nobodies to like enormous applause. And I've
Mhm.
never fucking understood it. I do not understand like that mentality.
Yeah.
And I don't understand why we as an audience think that's clever or enjoyable or
Fun or
relatable. Like
funny. Yeah.
it's embarrassing to in
Yeah.
my opinion.
Deeply. Deeply.
And like so beneath you. Anyway, so not beneath Jimmy Chuck. It's right on par with Jimmy Chuck. But so he decided to make this clapback video in which part of his scathing response to her was he said, "You know what else would help you? Getting another job. Try that because in the time it took you to copy and paste the same fuck ass message to me, who you don't follow, by the way, and to 100 other influencers and celebrities, you could have applied to 100 other jobs because you're a lazy piece of shit and you're entitled. Why would I ever help you?"
Oh my god!
Yeah, it's pretty intense.
What?
And I think I'm kind of like doing it a disservice because if maybe we'll splice in the actual video clip.
I'm sure they do, sweetheart. I'm sure they do. You know what else would help you? Getting another job. Yeah, try that. Because in the time that it took you to copy and paste the same fuck-ass message to myself, who you don't follow, by the way, and probably 100 other influencers and celebrities, you could have applied for 100 other jobs, but you didn't because you're a lazy piece of shit and you're entitled. And you think that influencers and celebrities should fund your life for you. Why would I ever help you?
Because when you really hear the tone that he's using and kind of the over the top emotion and like facial animation that
Oh
he's
my
doing along
gosh.
with this message, you're like, oh, this is actually like a lot more vicious than even the language comes across. Like it's
Yeah.
actually very hateful.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh my
it's pretty
gosh.
wild here. So people were
Like, what
understandably
would make a multimillionaire celebrity even think they have the right to an opinion on any of
right.
this? I'm just
So
like,
that was kind of my first stopping point in the
"You
essay where
don't
it's
have a
like,
job, James Charles." Like
right, right,
like
right, right, right. If someone
okay.
is entitled here, I think there's
Mhm.
only one person who's entitled. But anyway,
Mhm.
I that was kind of my first point where I hit pause in the essay because a lot of people like you were like completely shocked by this reaction,
Yeah.
found it like to be wildly over the top. But
Yeah.
maybe this is just like me being immersed in kind of like YouTube creator world and like what these people are
Mhm.
like. But I do think it's kind of like par for the course of like YouTube sickness brain, which is like, especially
Mhm.
with someone
Mhm.
like James, who's like, sorry,
Yeah.
Jimmy, someone like Jimmy who's grown up entirely on the internet and
Yeah.
has made his career entirely from not only being on the internet, but honestly, like a lot of controversies like this have very much
Yeah.
like made him and his career and made him a
Yeah.
household name. And so to me, it's like, yeah, it's a content brain sickness. It's like
Mhm.
he
Mhm.
does this a lot. He bullies people, he
Yeah.
makes fun of people, he belittles people, he claps back, and it gets him a ton of views and it makes him a
Yeah.
ton of money.
Yeah.
And then he makes subsequent apology videos, and honestly, those 2 rack up a ton of views, a ton of money. And so
Yeah.
ultimately, like, it makes you, I think, very cynical. And it makes
Yeah.
you kind of think like all clicks are good clicks, all news is
Mhm.
good news. Like I make money whether they love me or they hate me. So like
Yeah.
why not drum up the controversy? So I don't know. I didn't find it quite as surprising as other people, I guess. But also maybe
Yeah.
like I'm more familiar with how stupid YouTube people are,
Yeah.
frankly, and also how like sick of an individual he is specifically. Because
Yeah. Yeah.
I've been on the Jimmy Chuck hate train for a long time. A long
I know,
time.
but it feels like there have been so many controversies
Yes.
lately, especially that I'm just surprised he would
Yeah.
splash out like this after
He's never been afraid to splash
so much.
out. I'll say
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
never shied away from entering the fray.
Yeah.
We'll say. So anyway, so he posted this video. It gets huge backlash immediately. Everyone obviously is siding with this woman who he's mocking, Amber. And he proceeds to post multiple and they're all deleted. They've all since been deleted. I do actually think he has a new one that he just posted yesterday that
Oh,
I'm not caught up fully on the new posted apology,
okay.
but he's posted at least 3 apology videos at this point and he's
Wow.
deleted all of them. I mean, the first one calling it an apology video it was not an
Too
apology.
generous. Yeah.
It was very much like a sorry you feel that way with a double down
Uh-huh.
of like
Mhm.
sorry you're poor, sucks to be
Yeah.
poor basically. So I
Mhm.
don't wouldn't count that as apology, but then he went on to apologize and delete those as well because they were not satisfactory. Um And also, I just a recommendation that I would make to Jimmy if he's listening is maybe put on a shirt when you make an apology. Maybe don't do it in bed shirtless. Just maybe take it a touch
Yeah.
more seriously.
Little
Maybe
decorum.
a little decorum for the apology is what I'm saying.
Mhm.
I appreciate the casual affect that you're putting on, but maybe a little more gravitas for the
Mhm. Yeah.
next apology video, which I assume
Yeah.
there will be another one after this one because I've assumed you've already deleted the newest one.
Mhm.
Um, anyway, people did not take well to his apologies. They did not accept them. He now has, I mean, last time I checked, 39 million TikTok followers. So he lost about 5 million TikTok
Whoa.
followers over this. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, good.
Not even his first or most substantial follower loss, as we'll discuss in
Yeah.
a moment, but it should be probably why he's feeling so contrite all of a sudden, I would
Mhm.
imagine,
Mhm.
about what he's done. He also said that he reached out privately to Vargas to apologize, but she made a TikTok video of her own, replying to basically all of this and her feelings on it. And people ask her if she accepted his apology, and she said, "Hell no." Which,
Yeah.
love that for her, icon
Great.
queen.
Mhm.
And on the bright side, him shitting on her publicly like this has led to her raising $43,000 for
Oh,
her
yeah.
GoFundMe. So there
So,
is a
really,
small
he
bright
did
side.
a
He did
great
a
thing.
public service. We
Yeah.
should all be thanking Jimmy Chuck, actually. We
Mhm.
should be saying
Thank
thank you. Thank you
you.
so much for dunking on her.
Mm.
You highlighted a needy individual
Mhm.
who we can all go support, even though you are the multimillionaire who could not give her $1,600, or just frankly
Just
ignore the
don't
DM.
reply.
Just
I
don't
think most
reply.
people who are sending those kind of DMs are
Just
just assuming nobody's gonna see it or
exact, and
reply
that's
to
what
it.
she said. She's
Like,
like, "I just assumed he'd never see it. Like, it was just a
yeah.
shot in the dark because like I was in a desperate time, in a
Yeah.
desperate situation." It's like, why not? Why not shoot for the
Yeah.
stars? Like, why not try it and see? It's the same, when people like invite brands and celebrities to their wedding and stuff.
Right.
Yeah, have you ever seen that? It's like
Mhm.
they
Yeah.
don't think you're gonna come. They think that
My
you might
mom just
send
sent
them
me, like,
a
a
gift.
TikTok of brands to
Saying you
invite
need
to
to do
my
that.
wedding
Nice.
that, like, always send something.
Well, we're looking for that fishmonger sponsor.
I would love a
Always.
fishmonger sponsor. Apparently, Southwest Airlines, if you invite them to your wedding, they'll send you free tickets for a honeymoon.
Well,
So,
I
I gotta
mean,
try it. I gotta try it.
let's try it, but also tickets to wear. It's kind of
Yeah.
would be
Yeah.
my fear with Southwest.
True.
Like, where are you gonna
True,
send
true.
me though? um,
Okay, anyway.
but yeah, so all this happened this month, and it just got me thinking. It's crazy to me that this is the thing that moves the needle on him, and that might actually like hasten his cancellation. When like
Yeah.
this is literally by far the least bad thing Jimmy Chuck has ever done.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
least bad thing. So then I
Mhm.
was like, okay, I have to write it. I actually have to like, I need to like do a chronology and like point out to people like, hey, you
Mhm.
missed a couple conversations
Yeah.
here of like when this guy should have actually been like exiled from society.
Yeah.
And I mean, the most famous one. Well, he had some tweets, of course, that
Mhm.
were quite racist, and so that was his first brush with cancellation. Um, I think that is also very much YouTuber status quo. And also,
Mhm.
to be fair, he was a child. He was
Yeah.
probably like 12, 13 writing this stuff. And so I do think that is just kind of the nature of 12 and 13-year-olds being on an internet before even understanding that the internet would have receipts like this, would be
Right.
forever like this, that
Mhm.
everyone would go through this type of scandal. Anyway, so the first kind of major public cancellation we get is in 2021, which actually was it no 2019. I'm sorry, 2019. And honestly, I was surprised by how recent that is. For some reason in
Mhm.
my brain it happened much longer ago than that, but maybe that's the
Yeah.
lore around it. It looms so large. The mythology of this
Yeah.
YouTube moment is so enormous that it seems longer ago. But in 2019 we get, of course, the iconic Taddy Westbrook video that has
Oh,
since
yeah.
been deleted
I remember
by
this.
Sister, the
Bye,
iconic By
sister.
Sister. Yeah, a
Mhm.
43-minute a 43-minute since deleted video where Tati, another, for those who aren't into the YouTube universe, Tati was like an OG, really iconic beauty vlogger,
Mhm.
and very much Charles's like mentor, I would say, in terms of like
Mhm.
being in the beauty vlogger space. She was before him, and she kind of like took him under her she took him under her wing and very much like helped guide his career and to stardom. And so their falling out was like a massive drama on the internet, like a crazy
Yeah.
situation. And really kind of the crux, what's even crazier is the crux of this drama and this fallout is essentially that James Charles promoted sugar bear hair, which
Oh, yeah.
as
Yeah.
both of us being former Kardashian experts, I feel like that name
Oh, yeah.
haunts the
Yes.
imagination.
Uh-huh.
But
It's
so
all
he
rushing back
promoted,
to me now.
yeah, for sure. So he promoted these sugar bear hair, these like gummy vitamins, insane, when he was at Coachella. And Toddy was very offended by this because she had her own like gummy hair supplements that he had
Mhm.
never promoted. And he claimed that he wouldn't promote them on his channel because his audience was like super, super young. They were all children, which
Mhm.
we will get back to that demographic detail because that is a very important fact about
That's
James
some
Charles,
foreshadowing, yeah.
that all of his fans are literally underage children. That is a
Yeah.
very crucial detail. Anyway,
Mhm.
so he said he couldn't promote the supplements because that was dangerous to like promote those to his fans. And then he goes and promotes her number one
Sugar bear
competitor.
hair, yeah.
And Toddy was like very, very offended by this. And so that is the impetus for this whole video. But then,
Mhm.
as just like an aside, in the midst of this video, she also accuses him of using his fame. This is a direct quote, using his fame and money to try to manipulate someone's sexuality, which he has denied. He says that
Yeah.
he never did this, but basically she implies that they were having a dinner at her house. And I believe there was a straight waiter. I can't remember if it was a guest or if it was a waiter at the dinner, and that James Charles basically like tried to manipulate him somehow using his fame and his power into having sex with him. And that is will also become a recurring
Yeah.
theme
A
that we
recurring
will
theme
we
for
will
him.
find out. Yes,
Yeah.
that is very much his status quo. We find out, although he has completely denied that this situation ever happened.
Okay.
Regardless, this video lost him 1.26 million followers on YouTube, all in one day, which
Mhm.
to this day is the biggest recorded YouTube subscriber loss in history in a single day.
Whoa.
Yeah, which is
Interesting.
so crazy, especially when you realize
Yeah.
what the drama was actually about, and you're like,
Mhm.
that's what you lost you the most YouTube subscribers.
Yeah.
The YouTube, everything I learn about YouTube creators, I'm like, oh, there are no laws here. Like nothing, like you all are like sinister and you're doing like evil, depraved things, and they're all like, that's my fave though.
Yeah.
That's my YouTube guy.
My problematic fave.
That's my problematic fave. I gotta come back to him. So anyway, that happens. Years pass. He bounces right back, by the way. It's all fine. But by 2021, a then 21-year-old Charles is accused by multiple underage boys of soliciting
Mhm.
nude photos and
Yeah.
sending them sexually explicit messages and sexually explicit photos in
Yeah.
return.
I remember
Multiple,
this.
multiple boys.
Yeah.
Charles initially denied the claims, but later released another since deleted, you'll notice a theme, a since
Yeah.
deleted apology video. And that video was titled Holding Myself Accountable. Also an insane title for this video.
Yeah.
And in this video, he completely admits to doing it. He did it.
Yeah. Yeah.
He admits to it.
Mhm.
And he said, I fucked up. That's the direct quote. I fucked up and quote, these conversations should have never happened. But these conversations did happen with
Yeah.
2 minors, confirmed with 2
Yeah.
minors. And there are more than 2 who came forward and said that this was happening to him with receipts, I would add, with screenshots.
Yeah.
And somehow despite, and it happens also over like over time, like it kind of,
Yeah.
this initial wave comes out, and then in the subsequent months, like more and more boys step forward claiming they
Mhm.
had similar interactions with him, which I find very troubling.
Yeah.
But no
Yeah.
one else seems to find it troubling, because despite these boys absolutely credible, because James Charles admitted to it,
Yeah.
his
Yeah.
career once again bounces right back.
Yeah.
He has proceeded in subsequent years to land more and larger brand deals with major
Mhm.
brands. His YouTube channel was temporarily demonetized after these revelations came out, which is
Oh.
kind of YouTube's standard practice for people who allegations come out against them, or they face criminal repercussions. YouTube's kind of standard
Mhm.
practice is turning off monetization for their content, so at least they aren't
Mhm.
making money off the platform. And so they did that with James Charles, and then about a year or 2 years later remonetized his channel. So his channel is
Okay.
monetized once
Okay.
again, despite
Interesting.
nothing having changed.
Yeah.
these stories still being legitimate, and he's grown his audience actually to new heights. And I would particularly say on TikTok. TikTok is doing a lot of
Oh,
like the
yeah.
laundering
Yeah.
of his
Yeah.
entire career,
Well, it
entire
kinda, like,
personality.
TikTok really blew up after
Yeah.
like, post
Yes.
this scandal thing.
Exactly. Exactly. And so and I don't know, it seems I don't know who represents James Charles or who his team is, but they do seem to be at least working incredibly closely with TikTok on a practical level because
Oh,
I
yes.
mean
Okay.
it's kind of common knowledge I think right now if you're interested in James Charles at all, I think it's kind of common knowledge that videos speaking out against him are getting wiped completely off of TikTok. If not just kind of suppressed generally. Like they're
Mhm.
not being seen, they're not being spread around and no one's quite sure why that's happening.
What's going on
And
there?
unless he somehow has some sort of I mean, it's completely possible that he is making TikTok so much money that they've arranged some sort of, back end communication line
Yeah.
that his team has open. I don't know. I don't know. I just think it's a very
Right.
odd thing that's happening around
Yeah.
discussion of him on TikTok. And then, of course, so all of this kind of gets swept under the rug and people aren't really talking about it anymore. And James Charles is like allowed to just go on as he's always gone on. And then, actually, in February of this year, we get another OG YouTuber, Ethan Klein, who has the H3 podcast, and he's
Mhm.
been a massive YouTuber since probably around 2010, doing like commentary videos. And so he really has it out for James Charles and has had it out
Mhm.
for him for a minute because I think rightfully so, he has a major issue with sexting minors and like
Yeah.
the danger that James Charles presents to minors.
Yeah.
And he's had a number of his victims on his show as well and talked with them about
Wow.
their experience directly. Yeah. And so he took it upon himself. Well, because he noticed, as we've all noticed, that like he was being like laundered again to the public. Like he was kind of
Right.
being whitewashed in this way. And he was like, not on my fucking watch.
Mm.
And so he paid $10,000 to put up a billboard in downtown Los
Oh my gosh,
Angeles
yes. I remember you
calling
telling me about
out
this.
James over the allegations. And the billboard is a picture of James Charles, and the text says, "Hey James, I hear you text 'em young." Of
Mhm.
course, a
Mhm.
riff off of course, the Kendrick
Kendrick.
Lamar Drake song
Mhm.
of "I hear you like 'em young," with the
Mhm.
implication being he's a pedophile, which
Yes.
I don't know that James could even argue with because again, in that video, he
Like, you've
admitted to
admitted you text them young.
pedophilic
Yeah.
activities,
Yeah.
certainly, if not being of that sexual persuasion. And
Mhm.
so again, and this billboard Ethan had it approved by both his lawyer and he went back and forth with the advertising firm Lamar who owns the billboard itself to basically like make sure that it like complied with all of their legal standards and like wasn't going to be an issue
Uh-huh.
obviously because it's like a little bit of a controversy, right? And he was assured at every point like his lawyer signed off on it, Lamar signed off on it, like he was assured that like this is a freedom of speech thing, you know.
Okay.
Billboards can be run by like white supremacists, like they can be like or like campaign rivals and stuff like
Right.
so. I think this falls very much under that kind of that line of advertising.
Yeah.
And so the billboard was put up and it was removed 2 days later.
Mhm.
It was supposed to be up for a week, I
Mhm.
believe, or 2 weeks, and it was removed 2 days after it was installed. And when asked why it was removed 2 days after it was installed, Lamar said that it did not comply with their like rules and regulations, despite
Hmm.
it very much complying with their rules and regulations
Yeah.
before it went up and went
Hmm.
public. And so again, I think much like the TikTok stuff, it prompted a lot of people online to kind of speculate like what is really going on behind the scenes. And I
Yeah.
remember too when the billboard was taken down, it was on like a holiday long weekend. And so everyone found it like extra strict. Like, why would it be
Yeah.
taken down on like a Sunday of like a long
Mhm.
holiday week? Like, it just seems like very
Yeah.
weird.
You're taking some pains to take this down right
You're
now.
taking some
Yeah.
pains to take this thing down in a
Yeah.
rush,
Yeah.
I would say. But anyway, I think that billboard kind of like jogged everyone's memory about like
Mhm.
what the James Charles situation is. And so when this moment happened, it kind of like, I don't know, a little bit of a perfect storm.
Mhm.
But yeah, I don't know. I was just prompted to write this essay. And I kind of concluded the essay saying that, you know, beyond Jimmy Chuck kind of being a despicable character that we need to dispose of, excuse me. It reminded me a lot of Kim Kardashian's "the get up off your ass and
Yeah,
work" line,
totally.
and just this kind of like, there is an ambient feeling from both celebrities and by extension I would say corporations and capitalism in
Mhm.
general of this like disgust with their, I think
Oh,
we've
yeah,
actually talked about it on the podcast before,
completely.
like this disgust with the customer,
Mhm,
and like, and this implication that we're all just lazy and pathetic and that's why we can't get ahead under
mhm,
capitalism. It's very
mhm.
I think I wrote in the essay too. It's very avocado toast is keeping millennials
Yeah,
from owning homes,
uh-huh.
where it's just like so obviously like insane, but like the onus is always on us. And it's like the onus is
Mhm.
actually on us because if we don't have disposable income, then these people aren't rich and famous. Like that's the actual
Yeah,
tension of
yeah,
like what they're saying is like they're mad at us for
yeah.
not having more money to spend on them.
Mhm,
But
mhm.
they're putting it like it's our fault, like it's our
Yeah,
problem.
right.
It's not their fault. They don't need to be
No.
entertaining or make good products or
Well, and
like
the reason is,
spread
like,
their money
they are
around.
taking our money. I, like, can't remember the
Yes.
exact statistics, but when I wrote an article on that Kim Kardashian Get Up and Work thing for
Mhm.
Vice, I looked into the stats of, like, how much, like, executive earnings have
Yeah.
risen over the past, like,
Crazy.
30, 40 years and how much the average worker has, and it's, like, astronomical
Yeah.
in comparison. So it's like people are working harder than ever before, and this, like, elite class of people is, like, reaping all the benefits. So
Yep.
someone like Kim or James Charles can work really hard, and because of their place in the system, they get compensated in a way
Yeah.
that we can work really hard and not ever reach
Never.
that level of
Yeah.
compensation, like, because that's just how it's structured. Um,
Yes, but I
yeah.
just feel like this contempt for your own fans, for your own
Mhm.
customer feels like a
Yeah.
very, it's like
Yeah.
a truth that's always been the truth of capitalism, but it
Mhm.
feels like it's become so bare in
Yeah.
recent years. Like it's
Mhm.
become so the relationship has become so antagonistic. And
Yeah.
like, okay, then we'll just put poisons in your food that kills you. See if we care. If you won't buy our goddamn $9 eggs.
Yeah.
I
Oh
don't
my
know.
god.
It feels
Yeah.
like so aggressive.
It is.
And I just
Yeah.
feel, and just like it's perfectly like personified by these celebrity
Yeah.
talking heads, I
Yeah, I
guess.
mean, especially for, like, a Kim Kardashian or a James
Yeah.
Charles type, like, who thrive on controversy, get the views off of
And
controversy.
literally
It, like
your career are our view. Like without our
yeah.
views, without our
Yeah.
engagement, you are quite literally nothing. There is nothing to like
Mhm.
fall back on there. And
Right.
so like the antagonism is also kind of speaks to their franticness. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
their feeling of the rug being pulled out from under their career because
Yeah.
of our refusal to spend money or time or attention on them, as though
Mhm.
that's our fault, not their fault for not
Yeah.
entertaining us or not being interesting or not making good products or being good people, but our
Yeah.
fault.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But they're
A
mad.
very interesting
They're
dynamic.
mad at the audience.
Anyway, I love that I told a friend that I was writing this essay, and she was like, "I love that your thing has just become writing essays where you're like, stop it." No,
Yeah.
because she was talking about the Marilyn Monroe essay I wrote for the cut, and she's like, "I love that your thing is just like, stop looking at that person,
Wait,
stop
what's the
giving them
Marilyn
attention."
Monroe thing that you did?
It's called
Is this
a
old?
let the woman rest. Yeah, it's
Oh,
old,
okay, yeah, yeah.
where it was the year where we were just like obsessively doing it was Kim wore the Marilyn dress.
Okay,
Anna
yeah,
de
yeah.
Armas made that terrible Marilyn movie. There was
Well,
like a
there's
sculpture of her going up, and I was like, just shut the fuck up about her
there's a
already.
new Marilyn Monroe beauty
There's
brand that, like, just
always.
came out this week, so I'm gonna have to revisit that essay as
Oh
I do
my
my
god.
critique, and I'm like, it fits well into the dead morgue gaze trend. It's just
It's the
like
more gays.
dead
Yeah,
women
that was
are
kind of
our
my
icons.
argument.
Yeah.
Is that she's just like this empty vessel that we
Mhm.
Americana, like we fill it up with this Americana nonsense. Like she isn't a human to us.
Yeah.
She's Coca-Cola, she's
She's
McDonald's, she's
yeah.
Andy Warhol,
Mickey
you know?
Mouse. Yeah.
Yeah, she's not a human. She's a projection of a
Mhm.
fantasy woman. And it's just I was pointing out how sad that is when like that's what she like railed against her whole
Yeah.
actual existence was like
Yeah.
this character that she had to play versus the person who she was in her private life. And like
Yeah.
that dissonance I think also caused her like a lot of mental strife, a lot of emotional strife, and the fact
Yeah.
that like all that is left of her is kind of this thing that this character that she hated, so fucking depressing.
It's so depressing.
It's so fucking depressing, and that we can't just like let her exist. We
No.
can't just leave it alone. We can't let this mythology go.
Well,
We
and it's
have
just,
to
like,
like
so
exhume her corpse.
emblematic of some of the problems with beauty culture where it's like we
Yes.
look at this woman who had it all according to
Yeah.
beauty culture, like, literally set the trends, was revered as the most beautiful
The
person, got,
greatest
like
beauty of all time. Yeah.
yeah, and, like, was so depressed that she potentially killed herself.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It's man, what a bummer.
Man, oh man.
Oh god, okay.
What
Let
an
me talk
app.
about something else. Let me talk about Yesteryear. Have you
Okay.
heard anything about the book Yesteryear? Have
I've
you
heard
seen any of
much
the
about it.
discourse? Yeah.
I've heard much about it. I've heard a little bit of I've dabbled in the discourse. I haven't read any of it, and I don't really know much beyond the plot and the discourse. But I do know my editorial assistant at work. She moonlights at Barnes and Noble, and so she really has her finger on the pulse of
Oh,
books
yeah.
in a way that's like. I actually tell her, I'm like, it's kind of your like superpower, honestly, because you like are tapped in this crazy way where she like
Yeah.
actually knows like what the weekly book
What
sales
people
are and like
are, like,
what's trending and what
shopping
people
for,
are
yeah.
reading. And she said Yesteryear's been fucking huge. She said
Oh,
it's
it's been, like, the
massive.
number 1 New York Times bestseller for, like, a
She said
couple
it's
weeks now.
massive,
Yeah.
massive every week.
Yeah. So, okay, I am gonna talk about Yesteryear, but
Oh,
the
please.
reason I started thinking about Yesteryear, which I read and I liked, is my sister-in-law, her name's Kat Schneider, she's an author and an illustrator. Her first book, it's a graphic novel for young adults, came out this month.
Cool.
It's called Someday Perfect, and I did an interview with her for my newsletter, which I'll link to, but it's about going to like a strict Christian sleepaway camp as a teenager,
Oh, yeah.
while like falling in love with a fellow camper. And as she put it, learning to navigate life under the male gaze, but also the gaze of a higher being. Because it was like God is watching, but the boys are looking, and like, how do
Totally.
you deal with both of those things? Which immediately made me think of Tradwives,
Hmm.
because that's like, those are the two gazes that they're catering to for
Totally.
sure. And then that made me think of Yesteryear because it's kind of like a tradwife thriller. And Yesteryear is written by Carol Claire Burke, who is the co-host of the podcast Diabolical Lies, which we have shouted out before. And so I read both of these. I read Someday Perfect and I read Yesteryear, and I sort of see Someday Perfect as like maybe like a potential prequel to what happens in Yesteryear, like how somebody who grows up to become like a very Christian, religious tradwife influencer on social media might have grown up, like what they might have gone through in their teenage years to like make them that way. Because the camp that Kat writes about in Someday Perfect is kind of like this tradwife training ground. Like the girl campers do the boy campers' laundry. It's based, and then it's based on her real experiences. And like the girl campers didn't get as much food because they were like, you want to preserve your girlish figure. So it's like, and this was all considered like divinely designed, you know, like
Divine
these gender
lessons.
roles. Exactly. So I thought it was like really interesting to pair them together. And so I was thinking of this idea of the divine gaze and the male gaze and how they converge in online culture today, as being particularly relevant to Yesteryear. So basically the main character in Yesteryear is very religious. She's internalized this idea that God is watching, and it actually makes her very social media savvy because she's used to this idea of like
The
being watched
panopticon.
and being judged. Exactly. So I was thinking of like, okay, how do I draw some parallels between these two books for this interview? And I didn't end up going into it, but I found it so funny that here's the skincare angle. The skincare brand Dew Skin, Dieux, God in French,
God in French. Yeah.
hosted a launch party with Carol Claire Burke for Yesteryear and gave all attendees Dew Skin products at the end of it with names like Deliverance Serum and Instant Angel Moisturizer. And I was like, this is so bizarre that this book that is like sort of talking about the dangers of internalizing this divine gaze is like completely unironically like gifting readers
the divine gaze.
The divine gaze.
Oh, the divine glaze, should I say?
Divine glaze. Oh my God. Yes. perfect. It's perfect. You know, like this is a brand that like says that they are quote religious about results. They used to have like
Yeah.
the 10 commandments of skincare on their
Yeah.
website. And in the like event flyer, they were like, come to this event. We're like unpacking the influence of Tradwives and the performance of being a woman, and you're gonna get these skincare products. And I'm just like, and are we talking about how that's part of the performance of being
No.
a woman? Have we thought about how like the names of ethos of your product is like
No. I don't see it.
compounding the gaze of God that Caro is writing about in this book? I
Compounding the
don't.
gaze of God is a beautiful turn of
Yeah.
phrase, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. But yeah, I just found that so funny and kind of an iconic book and
Yeah,
beauty brand mashup.
aggressively on the nose, I would
Aggressively on the
say.
nose, but I think unaware. Like, I
Yeah,
don't think it's, like, ironic of, like, "Oh my god, and you're gonna get deliverance
totally.
serum." Like, there was no irony in the way this was presented, and to me, it just speaks to, like, how internalized
Yeah.
that gaze is, especially in beauty. So I wrote about this a little bit in the interview that I did with Kat Schneider, but I talked a bit about how, like, we've been moving in marketing from male gaze stuff in the past like decade or so to more divine gaze stuff.
Hmm.
Where it was like we used to have like orgasm blush and better than sex
Right.
mascara and those like herbal essences commercials where you were like having an orgasm in the shower while
Ooh,
washing your hair.
uh,
And
I
now you're
miss
more
those.
like you still have things like hard on lipstick, but you're
I
more
miss
likely
herbal
to see
essences.
things. I know those were good commercials. I loved them.
I
I
also
don't think
loved them as a
I did not know what
tween.
was happening. I was
No,
just like, "Oh, she loves the shower."
she loved, and
I
you know
love
what?
people with
And I was smelling those herbal essences, and I was like, I
showers.
get it. This
Yeah.
smells
Yeah.
incredible.
Yes, yes, yes. But today you're more likely to get marketing that's like deliverance serum, divine
Mm,
skin essence, like the Alicia Keys soul care routine, like ritual. It's much more like religiously tinged
yeah,
than it has been in the past. And I think that people tend to think of this shift as being like progressive, as in like we're not catering to the male
decentering
gaze. This is
men.
about me. This is about my
Right.
spiritual well-being. And I'm just like, but why is that better? Like that feels regressive to me. The God gaze feels like the original male gaze. Like why is this pressure to look pure and disciplined and good
Right.
better than the pressure to appear sexy? They're both sort of this outside pressure that's like
Yeah.
telling you what you should look like.
Yeah. I mean,
And
I
I
was gonna
don't think
say,
people have grappled with that.
I don't think so at all. But I was gonna say, like, I think the God gaze to me just feels like, well, God is Sky Daddy. It's like you're just
Yeah.
like zooming out to a meta
Yeah.
level of the male gaze. You know what I mean? Like
Yes,
God is
completely.
is the OG man here. Like he is
Mhm.
gendered male traditionally in
Yes.
religion. Like
Yeah.
it just feels like they're like, oh right, like we're all angry at men. Like we're mad at
Mhm.
men. So like let's shift let's shift focus. It's not the
Yeah,
men who want you to do this, it's God who wants you to do
and then
this.
when you,
But it's
like,
like the same
trace
gaze.
it's the same when you trace back, like, how these ideals have emerged over time, even just taking, like, the ideal of youthfulness, like, men like a young, fertile woman.
Sure.
Um, it's like that was associated in, like, the Middle Ages with being young, pure, innocent little
Mm,
lamb, like, not
right.
having accumulated sort of, like, sin and the weight of the world as
Right.
much. Like, so there's this real, like, divine innocence that's, like,
Beauty.
around youth at that time, and that's part of why youth is idealized. So there really are these sort of very religious influences that have created what is considered good under the male gaze. Um,
So we're just going back to the
we're
source.
just
We're
going back to the
regressing.
source. We're regressing. We totally are regressing, and I just think it's like it's funny to see this pairing, and what I would say is like a lack of awareness about
Totally. But it's also like
how
interesting
those
that
gazes are
we
intertwined.
are right. It is interesting to think about like we are regressing to like the source of all these beauty standards almost while simultaneously doing all these kind of like mental loop de loops of like
Mhm.
logic and explaining to get to this place that's
Oh,
actually the old place. You know what I mean?
if you want to talk about mental loop-de-loops, wait till my mess of the month where I talk about
Can't
Rosie
wait.
O'Donnell's poem about her
Oh
facelift.
boy, I knew you were gonna have something to say.
Oh my
I've
god.
been reading the headlines all week and chuckling to myself about the shame of the deep plane facelift. And I was like, I know Jess has something
Oh
to say about
Lord.
this.
I do. I do.
Well,
Um,
we can hasten in the mess of the month direction if you like. Unless you have
yeah,
more to say
let's
about
let's move on. No, I'm done. I'm done with the God gaze. Should we talk about the Met Gala? The Mess Gala?
the Met Gala, my favorite time of year. Yeah, we can just
Yes.
rifle through this. I don't. It's
Yeah.
honestly, frankly, not interesting enough to speak about at length, but I know that people were
No.
clamoring for us to talk about it.
People were
Um,
asking, but I've already forgotten. I was very bored by this year, and very
absolutely.
few things stuck in my head actually. Um,
I couldn't agree more with that. It was entirely a forgettable evening, and I say that as
yeah,
someone who typically loves a forgettable evening of
yeah,
celebrity fashion. It was stupefyingly boring is how I would describe it. And again, on a night that is famously bad, you know, like
yeah,
truly no one expects anything from if you expect anything from the Met Gala, you're a fool, frankly. Like you're never going to be satisfied with the
yeah.
things that you're seeing there. The celebrities will never follow the theme. They'll never do it well. You are
No.
lucky to get like 3 people who absolutely kill it. And it's like
Hmm.
it's worth it for them usually, but
Hmm.
like everyone else you should know is a travesty, but I
Yeah.
felt this was a travesty beyond all reason. I was like, well, okay, here, let me say the best thing that happened that night is I figured out how to live stream correctly. And so that
I'm
was a
so
very
happy for
exciting
you.
it was a very exciting development for me and the like 5 people who watched me live stream because they didn't have to yell at me all night about the many technological foibles of my
I
production.
wanted to watch the live stream so badly, but I happened to be in San Diego that day,
Mm,
staying with my sister. And I think we were at
tragic.
dinner or something, or lunch because it was a different
Yeah, yeah, you were
time
probably at lunch.
zone.
It was
And I
kind of
was like,
early.
oh
Yeah.
no, oh no.
You didn't miss a thing. You truly didn't miss a thing, except that I learned how to do a screen in screen sharing so that we could all watch things simultaneously. So that felt like a huge
Perfect.
coup.
Yeah.
And then of course that's traditionally the last red carpet I live stream of the year. So I've learned it how to do it
Oh
to
yeah.
absolutely no end.
I know. The
I have
technology
nothing
will
else
have
to live
changed
stream.
by next year.
I know. By next year, I'll have forgotten it all, and I
Yeah.
won't know how to do it, and there'll be some
Mhm.
new technology that I don't understand to mess it up again. Oh my god! Also, this is unrelated, but it just occurred to me, and I just have to express it out loud. I'm so mad at myself because for another year, I have missed the Pornhub Awards. And
How?
when I tell you, for like every week for the past
Oh
probably
no.
3 months, I have been emailing their press contact, being like, "Hey, when is this When is this happening? Could I be on the Could I come to the red carpet? When is this happening? Could I be there?" And they have
Stop.
not
Oh my
responded to me.
god.
They have left me on red for 3 months, and then I read
Makes no
yesterday
sense.
that friends of the newsletter Think 1994. These people, I love them. Do you know them?
Mm-mm. No.
I'm a long time Think 1994 fan. Anyway, they're
Okay.
amazing. They do all sorts of things. They do all sorts of like funny little projects and art gallery shows, and they made a line of merch that you might be familiar with. They made the ashtray that was the Mary Kate and Ashley.
Yes. Okay. Yep.
That's them. And they do
Fun.
a lot of Sex in the City
Very
stuff.
fun.
They're super fun. Anyway, they posted something about being at the Pornhub Awards and I was like, "God damn it."
Why them? Why them and
I've
not
been
me?
sabotaged again. Anyway, I'm sorry. That has nothing to do with anything. I don't even remember why I brought that up, except that because of live
The
streaming,
red
because
carpet. Yeah. That would have
I
been
would have live
amazing.
streamed that. Anyway,
I would have loved
so
to see
I
it.
fucked it up and I didn't do it. So back to the Met Gala that was deeply
Mhm.
disappointing.
Yeah.
There were some best dressed of the nights. Let me just run through a few of my thoughts here.
Yes.
There were some best dressed of the nights. There were some standouts to me. One was Emma Chamberlain in Custom Mugler. Um, it
Interesting.
it looked like a
Mhm.
painting that was melting off of her body.
Yeah.
Again, in the video version, we can insert photos, but I compared it to What Dreams May Come, if you're familiar with that movie.
Oh, uh-huh. Yeah, I can see
I don't
this.
know why, but there's this particular scene in that movie that looms enormously large in my brain, and I think of it as a reference all the time, and like probably like 10 millennials know what I'm talking about, which is that there's a scene. So Robin Williams, the whole point of What Dreams May Come, for those who have not seen this film, which you should, is that Robin Williams is like, his wife committed suicide and he's like going after her, like her
Mm,
spirit, and like
yeah.
because it's like trapped in purgatory or something, so he has to like go through the it's kind of what is that myth? Orpheus.
Yes. And
It's very Orpheus, where he has to like go down into
Penelope. Yeah.
hell. Is
Mhm.
it Penelope? I couldn't
I
remember
don't
that.
know.
I don't know.
No,
Let's
probably
just leave
not.
it at Orpheus. It's
Well,
very
yeah.
Orpheus, where he has to like go into hell and he has to like save the love of his life, and
Yeah.
it's very that. And so Robin Williams goes into hell to save his wife, and then there's this scene where he like is in this kind of like heaven waiting room type of thing, and it's like one of her paintings that he's like living inside, and so like it's like
Mhm.
nature and like a field of flowers, but it's
Yeah.
very like globular lumps of paint that are kind of like smashed around. It's like
Love
tactilely
the
like
globular lump.
so
Yeah.
it really like scratches an itch in my brain, the tactileness of that space. Anyway, that's what Emma Chamberlain's dress reminds me of, like
Yeah.
precisely. And so
Mhm.
I thought that was like a really beautiful interpretation of the night's theme, which is of course fashion is art, which is fucking preposterous. An
Yeah.
absolutely
Yep.
preposterous nothing of a theme. And also I will
Nothing
say that
theme.
this red carpet is testament to what I've always said about these themes, which is that like Anna there's always a theme for the exhibit itself, and the theme for the
Yeah.
exhibit itself is usually good, and I agree with it. And then
Yeah.
Anna Wintour over the years has decided that no famous people can correctly interpret the exhibit theme, and so she creates a separate theme just for the red carpet that is always like wildly more vague and meaningless.
Yeah. And it's
And
like, no one's correctly interpreting this either. Just give them the good theme.
exactly.
Just
Exactly.
let
And
them be the
that's
good
what I
one.
say every single year. I was like,
Mhm.
actually, you're doing it wrong. Because I know that in her
Mhm.
brain, she thinks, I'll make it so vague and wide that everyone, if you
Yeah.
wear an outfit, you
It'll
will
fit.
fall. Like
Yeah.
last year's was tailored for you.
Yeah. Mhm.
Tailored for you. So, like,
Mhm.
yeah, literally
Like,
everyone
no
is wearing a
matter what you did. Yeah.
because again, literally everyone is wearing a custom garment. It is
Mhm.
quite
Mhm.
literally has to be tailored for you. And
Yeah.
so you cannot fail. And I know
That's
that
like
was her line of thinking with fashion is art is like fashion is quite literally art.
yeah. So
So if you wear
anything
fashion,
goes.
you have succeeded at the
You've
night's
done it.
theme. And
You have done it.
I would like to counter to her that the vagueness is actually the problem. When you
Mhm.
don't give celebrities enough parameters and like
Yeah.
strict narrow
Yeah.
rules, they start to get creative and that is actually wildly more dangerous than being hyper specific with them and forcing them to
Yeah.
do something good.
Yeah. I think I
And I
agree. Mhm.
and when will we learn this lesson? Like how many times do we have to do this before we discover that like you got to crack down on these people?
Yeah.
Like you can't just tell them it's camp and expect you can't. Also,
That was
that was a
one of the
huge
worst.
bro, but that was also like a huge problem I had with this year's red carpet is people were wearing stuff where I was like, okay, so that actually would have been phenomenal 3 years ago. If you had
Yeah.
worn
Yeah.
that 3 years ago to like camp
Uh-huh.
or to Superfine, the Black Tailoring exhibit, or
Mhm.
Garden of
Mhm.
Time, I was like, that
Garden
would
of
have
Time, yeah.
murdered. That would
Yeah.
have murdered at that event, but you've worn it to this event, and I don't understand why.
Mm-mm.
It's maddening. It's crazy making. So that was my big takeaway of the night.
Yeah.
Anyway, another best dressed for me, Jordan Roth, who wore one of the Robert One gowns that we talked about before, a custom version of it that with
Okay.
the mannequin man kind of looming over
Yes, yes, yes.
Jordan's back, and I thought
Yeah.
that's a
I liked
perfect
that. Mhm.
interpretation of fashion and art, and also the theme itself was just about the relationship between fashion and the body, and so I
Mhm.
expected kind of more of this play between
Yeah.
the
I
hyperreal body
agree.
and fashion.
Mhm.
But I thought Jordan kind of did kind of maybe the best version of it. And Gwendolyn Christie, I also really enjoyed
Loved
um
hers.
her take on it, which
Yeah.
she wore like a mask of her own face. And then on the
Yeah.
flip side of the mask of her own face was a mirror, which I thought was really
Mhm.
clever.
Yeah. I loved
And
that.
then of course her gown was Gilles Deacon, who is an
Mhm.
amazing British fashion designer and also her husband.
Her husband.
So
Yeah.
really works out for her quite often
Mhm.
when it comes to these sorts of galas.
Yeah.
And then also I was thinking with Gwendolyn, the funny thing about her is like I feel like she did that Margiela Artisanal show where she
Mhm.
was the doll and like she
Mhm.
like found her true self.
Yeah.
And like she's just been riffing off that aesthetic like ever since because her Met
Yeah.
Gala look to me was like very much like that
Yeah.
2.0. Like not that I'm complaining, loved it, beautiful, loved her in the
Mhm.
show and on the gala carpet, but like I just feel like she's really found her aesthetic niche and it happens
Yeah.
to be like haunted Victorian doll. So I
Yeah.
love that.
I
What
do
are
like
some other
that.
thoughts I have of the night? I mean, one that I've been talking about kind of at length was Sarah Paulson wore a Matière Fécale
Mhm.
couture dress. This is, I believe we talked about them before when Brian Johnson
Yeah.
walked in their show, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So this, I don't know. This collection's so crazy to me because it's called the 1%. The whole
Right.
show is a critique and a commentary on the uber rich and kind of
Mhm.
like just the narcissism, the self-obsession, the
Yeah.
devotion to like beauty that pushes them into these like freakish alien plastic surgeried beings. And also
Yeah.
just kind of like the way that the wealth blinds you to like the real suffering around you and kind of the real
Mhm.
impact and change that your money could make on the world around
Yeah.
you because you're so like solipsistic in it, I
Yeah.
guess. And that's
Yeah.
what the collection's about. And so it just is cracking me the fuck up that celebrities keep wearing it
Wearing
in
it.
these very unironic, very like sincere ways where it's like,
Yeah.
I don't think they're understanding
You
that
don't
they are
know.
the
Yeah.
punchline of this joke.
Mm-mm. No.
And so, and
I
so
mean,
I've
that's
been
how I
thinking a
felt
lot
about
about
Brian
that.
Johnson walking that runway anyway. Like he did not know
Exactly.
that
And that's what was
any of
funny
the joke
about
was
it.
on him. Yeah. Yeah.
And even the public, like in their anger at Brian Johnson walking in the show, were like refusing to understand the joke of the show and the context that
Mhm.
he had been
Mhm.
like put inside of. And that's what
Yeah.
I've kind of found in the response, not only in celebrities wearing these outfits, but even the response from the public to them wearing these outfits. Cause I keep
Yeah.
pointing out how funny it is. And one of the critiques that I got back was like, well, who can afford to even wear this collection who isn't of the 1%? And I was like,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
That's
And the joke will
the
always be
joke.
on you.
Right. It's a
It
performance
reminds
piece.
me
It's an
it
experiment. It's
reminds
like a thought
me on,
experiment.
like, a much, like, a higher fashion scale of the, like, Jacobs by Marc Jacobs by
Yeah.
Marc Jacobs tote
Yeah, by
bags because,
MJ,
like
by
yes, exactly. It's a joke on whoever
yeah.
buys it, but, like,
It's
it wouldn't
logo
be a
to
joke
hell.
unless
Yeah.
so many people bought it, sort
Right.
of, and, like, most people who are buying it are not aware that this is a joke about their own consumerism and
Totally.
how
And
they'll
Marc
buy,
Jacobs,
like, a flaccid tote bag just because it has the name Marc
yes.
Jacobs on it 17 times.
And it's like Marc Jacobs making fun of both his own love of diffusing himself.
Yeah.
Like he does
Yeah.
have a million diffusion lines and like
Yeah.
so he's mocking himself that he's
Yes.
like doing all this stuff, but also it like is gesturing at something true, which is like
Yeah.
he does have to make all these diffusion lines to like have products at all these different price points so that he like
Mhm.
can be a relevant fashion brand, but also like
Yeah.
parts of that brand are spun off to larger conglomerations, like luxury
Mhm.
conglomerate brands. So like he
Yeah.
doesn't personally own like large swaths of his own company that has
Yeah.
his own name on it. So he actually has to make diffusion lines that
Yeah.
he himself owns so that he has
Yeah.
control. Like that is where Heaven came from. I don't know if people are familiar with Heaven by
Oh,
Marc
yeah.
Jacobs, but like,
Yeah.
but that's a spin-off line so that Mark actually like had Ava, who's the creative director of that, or was the creative director of that line. Like that's how he was able to hire her and work with her and like have a say in part of his brand is because like that's not Marc Jacobs proper, which is owned by a larger conglomeration.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
that
just
makes
think
sense.
this very
Yeah.
weird, funny, like meta
So funny.
thing about the
Yeah.
fashion industry, about fashion consumption. It's like the
Mhm.
joke's on you, but the joke is also about him.
Mhm.
Yeah, it is very
Totally.
that. It's
Yeah.
that taken to like the nth degree though, because it's actually talking about like a couture consumer
Yeah. Yeah,
instead of
exactly.
kind of this like lowest common denominator consumer who's like
It's
buying the
kind of
fragrances, buying the mascara,
well, it's
buying the
almost kind
MJ
of
by
like
Marc Jacobs.
a Coonsian joke too, because
Yes.
like, you're gonna pay $58
Yeah.
million for something that looks like a balloon animal.
That's making fun
Like
of you.
yeah, yeah.
That's making you a
Like,
joke.
the
Yeah.
joke is on you if you are buying this art.
Totally. Totally.
Interesting.
And another layer is added when we're talking about celebrities wearing it because they're not buying that. Those are samples. So there
Mhm.
is
Right,
actually no
right.
money. They are
They're
actually
not spending
worthless.
that money.
They literally don't cost anything. Like, I mean, when
Yeah.
you again, we've talked about this before, but samples famously, when you're trafficking in samples, you say on tariffs and stuff that they cost $1
Mhm,
because they
mhm,
don't they technically don't
mhm.
cost anything because they're not for sale.
Yeah,
They're not
yeah, yeah,
so it's like
priceless
we're talking
or
about people.
worthless. Yeah.
Yeah, we're talking about people who are kind of like wearing worthless,
Mhm.
multi-thousand dollar garments. And I don't know,
Yeah,
I think that adds another
that
layer
adds a
onto
very
it.
funny layer,
And I don't
yeah.
know, my counterpoint was also that no one's making them wear this.
Yeah,
They're
no,
making themselves the punchline of the joke they
yeah,
don't understand. Nobody is forcing that. They don't have to wear these gowns. They don't have to wear this
no,
collection at all. And even, I mean, you're even making yourself a punchline in engaging with this brand at all. I mean, the brand's name is fecal matter.
I was just gonna say, like,
You're literally wearing
we
shit. You're
know.
literally wearing shit.
Yeah,
That's the
this is, like,
joke.
built into the brand at every level.
Yeah, that's the joke.
Yeah,
I don't know. Anyway, I love it.
yeah,
I guess we got here because Sarah Paulson wore their
yeah,
designs to the Met Gala, which is so
yeah.
fucking funny. And she also wore one of their dollar bill blindfolds with it.
Mhm.
And I was just like, I don't know. I was looking at it, I was like, girl, do you think this is a protest? Like, do you think that you've successfully made a commentary here? Because you
Yeah,
haven't.
no.
You're at the Met Gala.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
paid somebody paid for your
you're one of
ticket.
them. You're up there. Yeah,
Somebody paid for your ticket to be at the
yeah.
Jeff Bezos Met Gala. So, like,
Mhm,
inherently, that is not a protest because you're endorsing it with your presence. Even if
mhm,
you think you're making a public statement about it. And again,
mhm.
you are wearing the collection that's making the joke of you. You aren't making a joke
Right.
of the event by wearing that collection.
Yeah,
You're the
yeah,
1%. You're the 1% that you're like
yeah.
mocking. I don't know. I
Mhm.
love that. I think that's very funny.
I actually got a similar feeling from Cardi B and Marc Jacobs. It was very like her dress sort of had like those tumor-like growths on it. It was very build-a-body, just like curves in all of these like
Yes. Yeah.
places that they
Tumescent.
don't exist. Yes, yes.
It was
Um,
very Sarah Paulson at the Vanity Fair after party for the Oscars. Was that
yes,
last year? Was that
I think
2
that was
years
last
ago?
year.
Good
I
God,
don't
time is
know.
crazy.
But I felt similar because, like, those kinds of dresses are sort of, like, commentary on or at least, like, in conversation with this, like, build-a-body era where you can just add fat wherever you want on
Yeah.
your body
Yeah.
and take
Yeah,
it away
yeah.
in other places, and Cardi B, like, herself is kind of the ultimate
Very much the poster
symbol
girl of
of,
that.
like, the modified body,
Absolutely, and the
and
rapid
really owns it.
transformation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was kind of interesting to see her being such a good example of the kind of body that this fashion is speaking
Yes.
to.
Yeah, I thought that
Um,
was very interesting as
yeah,
well, and
yeah.
but again, brings me to another issue of the night. My, lifelong hatred of the Vogue the live stream that Vogue is doing for the Met Gala.
Mhm.
It drives me out of my fucking mind. But, that's a perfect example, though, because Cardi B arrived after they cut the cameras on the live stream, so a lot of people didn't even
Oh,
see that
no.
look. Most people did not
Bummer,
even see that look, because all the
bummer.
famous people arrived literally after Vogue arbitrarily
Mhm.
decides to end their live stream. I'm like, "You're in control.
You own it.
You're in control.
Just
Just
do it.
keep streaming. Just keep show me all the people till all the people are done. Like, it's up to
That's
you."
so weird.
It's
Yeah,
so
yeah, you call
maddening.
the shots, Vogue.
And then I also learned that night another one of my great pet peeves with their way they do the live stream. And I've always blamed the camera crew because I assume that the camera crew is a bunch of like straight dudes who have not been given directives on like how to film fashion. And so they
Mhm.
like don't know what to
Yeah,
focus on or like what details people want to see
yeah.
at home. And so I've always blamed them. But then I found out this year that the cameramen literally can't zoom in.
That feels like a very basic, camera capability.
It feels like the most basic, and also, like, I understand, like, focal lengths or whatever, like, maybe it's set up, but, like, have a second camera then
Yeah, have a zoomed
you can
camera.
cut to that's doing the zooms.
That's very
Is it
odd.
this hard? That's kind of what I boil down every Met
That's
Gala to.
very
I'm like,
weird.
"Should it be this hard? Should it be this
Yeah.
difficult?" I feel like it
No,
shouldn't,
no,
and
it
yet it feels like
shouldn't.
an absolutely Herculean task for Vogue to do this live stream every year. Anyway, so
Yeah.
I learned that they can't zoom in because they were doing, an interview with Paloma Essler?
Essler?
I've never
I've always said Essler in my head, but that could be wrong.
a person whose last name I've never said out loud. Anyway, they were doing an interview with Paloma, and she had painted one of her ears silver, I believe, silver gold. And Ashley Graham asked the camera if they could zoom in on the detail because it really looked so fabulous. And the cameraman was like, "We literally can't zoom." And I was like, that's
Okay.
even crazier because this isn't even the red carpet proper. This is like a holding area where they do interviews. So it's like a still
Yeah.
moment where you'd think like, yes, now would be the
Hmm.
time where you could zoom in and zoom out. And they said,
Yeah.
no, we
We can't do
can't.
that.
And I'm
We
like,
can't do
okay,
that.
that's cool because
Who do you
literally
think we
everything,
are?
all the good parts are happening in the details, but like no
Yeah.
worries. Anyway, that reminded me because
Very
one of
bizarre.
the big themes of the night was prosthetics, and one of my
Mhm.
favorite prosthetics of the night no one could fucking see because no one could zoom in on her face was a knock guy who had prosthetic tears running down her
Yes.
face,
Yeah.
and she was
Very
doing
cool.
kind of like kind of a Virgin Mary type of
Yeah.
thing. Anyway, it's so beautiful. I thought they looked so
I
beautiful, and
really
you
loved
literally
that.
could not see it at all on the right card. It translated as
Mhm.
nothing.
Yeah.
in video and photographs from a distance. It's only
Yeah.
afterwards when people were posting detailed shots of her makeup that I finally saw it, and I was like, "That's amazing." Of course, we also have Bad Bunny in age
Oh,
prosthetics,
yeah, which I
which I
loved.
loved. Of course,
Call
it was
back
very
to the
Cardi
Cardi
B
B
in the Alexis
abandoned
Stone.
prosthetics. Yeah. Yep.
Absolutely. And then also Heidi Klum did an homage to Raphael Monti's The
Yeah.
Veiled Vestal.
Mhm.
And that I also thought that was fucking phenomenal. And both
Yeah.
of those prosthetics were done by Mike Marino, who I interviewed for
Yes,
interview.
for interview.
And
Mhm.
Mike is extremely cool, extremely cool. He does like pretty much any prosthetic that you can think of recently that's like very famous is Mike.
Yeah.
The penguin, he did the penguin.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's incredibly good, and I don't know, I think he made, like, a really compelling point when I was interviewing him, which is he was talking about doing these prosthetics, especially the Heidi Klum's, and is saying, like, he's very into, art history and
Mhm.
very into, like, the masters and stuff, and, he was saying that he was like, "I think that if they were alive today, they'd be doing what I do," because it's actually this, like, synergy of all these different genres of art, like, you're
Mm.
it's
Mm.
special effects, of course, he's like, "But
Yeah.
you're literally creating a sculpture, you're hand
Yeah.
painting that sculpture
Yeah.
to, like, look realistic, and you're also creating couture, like, you're molding it to custom to
Mm.
someone's specific body,
So
like, you're
cool.
doing body scans to create
Yeah.
something that custom molds to their body,
Yeah.
and it's also, like, engineering. It's, like, actually a very
Right.
complicated
Yeah.
science of, like,
Yeah.
how these things move together, how they all fit together, and he was talking
Mhm.
about, like, with Heidi Klum, it's like, you have to make sure there's a way for her to go to the bathroom, because I was like, "Can she go?" Because 'Cause I've always kind of
Yeah.
assumed that she's just holding it all night, and he's like,
Holding it all
"No."
night, yeah.
He's like, "There's hidden zippers. She can
Wow.
absolutely freely move and pee and everything that we make, because he makes all her Halloween costumes too. And he was like, "We
Okay,
make
yeah, that
sure that
makes
she
sense.
can, like, totally pee, like, with help, obviously, but he's like,
Yeah.
"She can pee, she can move around." He's like, "In this case, we knew she was gonna be at the gala alone." And so he's like,
Mhm.
"We made sure there was a pocket for her cell phone, because like,
Yeah.
she needs to be able to, like, reach people
Wow.
or contact people, and so we wanted to make sure she, like, has all the creature comforts of, like." And it's like, that is just I don't
Yeah.
know, I found that really compelling and
Yeah.
moving.
The level of, like, practicality in the prosthetics.
Yeah. Yeah, and of course I've been revving for someone to do age prosthetics since Cardi B, so I was
I
happy to see
know.
Bad Bunny
I
finally
have, like,
implement it.
mixed feelings on it 'cause I love it. I'm really
Yeah,
glad that he did it. It looked so good, and I'm
it looked
also
really
just, like,
good.
really interested in, like, how much other people loved it and how much,
Yeah,
like, praise it got in the
a
media, and
lot.
just interesting to think of, like, that aesthetic only gets praised when it,
It's fake.
like when it's fake, when it, like, implies a level of effort and a level of aesthetic labor or costume or on a man, because men are allowed to age and it enhances the qualities we think of as good and masculine.
Yeah.
Um, or I don't know, I was even thinking of, like, Iris Apfel, who was, like, that
Yeah.
big style influencer who was in her 90s, and she was very wrinkled, like, she didn't do any cosmetic work, and she would be praised a lot. But I think sometimes, like, because her look was incorporated into an otherwise very high effort aesthetic,
Yeah.
so it
Maximalist, yeah.
signaled, like yeah, she's very maximalist fashion, so it signaled,
She's
like,
also
a
was
lot of
very
attention.
MAGA.
Really? Interesting.
Which
But
I
it
just
signaled,
always
like,
thought was
a
funny. I mean, it's
I
appropriate for her
know.
age, I guess. People
Yeah.
her age do tend to be MAGA, but I always thought it was funny
Yeah.
because she, like you said, she was getting these kind of like crazy glowing reviews, and I was
Yeah.
always like, "Has anyone read what she said about Trump the other week?" Because I don't know if fashion would
I
feel
had
quite as
not.
fondly about her. Yeah, it wasn't great,
Oh,
but
that's so
anyway,
interesting.
yeah,
Yeah, but it's like when someone who is clearly paying attention to their appearance and putting in effort otherwise, it and keeping their wrinkles, it sort of symbols like, oh, this is a conscious choice. I do know
right,
the rules. I'm not letting myself go. I just am choosing this, which
right.
gets, I guess, more respect or attention or praise than someone who just like
Well, yes,
it
and I think we
is,
also like
quote
it because
unquote, letting themselves go.
we know there's a hot person under there. We know it's not
Yeah.
permanent.
Oh, yeah.
That
Yeah.
I think is also part of
Take
like
it
what
off
we
at the
like
end of
about
the night. Yeah.
right, the idea that you can opt into wrinkles and then opt out of them back into being a
Mhm.
beautiful person. I think that's what's compelling to us
Totally.
about it.
Oh, yeah.
What else did I like? Oh, we got Bubbles on the red
I
carpet.
saw that. I thought of you immediately.
Finally, a gesture towards my transitory fashions. I've been patiently waiting. Yeah, that was from Iris Van Herpen. She adopted a runway look for Eileen Gu.
Eileen is so beautiful.
Yeah.
Her face is crazy.
Yeah, crazy. But I really like the bubbles. I thought that was fun.
Yes. Loved it.
What else did we have? I'm looking through my
Jeremy
notes.
Pope went full George Michael Bluth. I don't really know who Jeremy Pope is, but he was wearing
really
like a
either.
fake, just like fake abs shirt.
Hold on, I gotta get a gander.
It was like bedazzled, fancy.
Oh, yeah.
Muscular body.
Yeah. I recall now. Interesting. Yeah, Jeremy Pope always kind of like makes a big splash at the Met Gala, and I never quite understand who he is. Hold on, I'm looking at a video. You know what? Also, this top is Vivienne Westwood, but you know what it really, really reminds me of? Do you remember the Norwegian salmon air?
Yes.
Insert photo here because everybody needs to remember the Norwegian salmon era. Was that camp that he went dressed like that?
It must have been camp. I think
it must have been camp. Anyway, he had bedazzled abs just like this, and I loved it. And I missed him this year. I don't know if I saw a photo of him this year.
Was he there? I don't recall.
He went to Superfine. He went to the last year's, so I assume that he would be at this year. Anyway, miss him. Love him.
Yeah.
Love George Michael Bluthcore wherever I can get it. Also, we had an apple crate. Emma Chamberlain standing on an apple crate, which of course is one of my iconic predictions for the year, is that we would move into stilt territory and artificial ways of boosting our height.
Perfect.
One big takeaway from the night is that celebrities seem to only know exactly one piece of artwork, and it is John Singer Sargent's portrait of Madame X. And I don't know how they all landed on this, and I don't know why it's the only painting they've seemingly ever seen in their entire lives. There were literally hardly any painting references it was so baffling.
It was weird. I was expecting a lot more like on
it was
nose
so weird
painting stuff, but no, not a lot.
But there was like weird oblique references to paintings where I was like, okay, nobody knows that painting, but I'm glad you're referencing it, I guess. And then everyone was Madame X, and I was like, I don't know where you guys. Also, do they know he painted other portraits of ladies?
I know,
like that,
beautiful portraits.
That's kind of his whole thing. Like I don't. Yeah. There's other be like doesn't he have like a Lady Guinevere or whatever? Isn't that one of his famous paintings? Where she's like red and she's putting the crown. It's like that would be a phenomenal reference to make. Nobody made that one.
No.
Anyway, it's funny too because I was thinking about a portrait of Madame X because I don't know if you're a Gilded Age watcher.
No, I'm not.
The most wonderfully dull show I've ever encountered in my life. Nothing is happening, and that's exactly how I like it. That's how I sell it to everyone. She crosses the street in the first season, and it is groundbreaking. She walks right across that road, right across it to the other house.
Whoa.
And the crowd went wild. So anyway, they have a reference to that painting in the second season of Gilded Age that when I saw it, I was like, oh, that's very funny. That's very clever. Because basically they're implying that she's the woman in the painting.
Okay.
Carrie Coon is the woman in the painting. And I was like, oh, that's funny. Haha.
Yeah.
Clever reference. And then I saw it just brutalized on this cover. I was like, actually, we need to leave her alone. Stop it. Leave Madame X alone. Yeah. So I guess maybe for those who aren't familiar with the painting itself, it was like a hugely scandalous painting at the time when it was debuted at the Paris Salon in 1884 because he originally painted it with one of the straps of her dress dangling off her shoulder. And critics were scandalized. Risque. She was a harlot. And so, they said that it was vulgar and overly sexualized. And also, funnily enough, for your beauty and your tanning angle, one of the biggest critiques was the stark contrast between her. She has extremely pale skin and she's wearing a dark black or navy blue dress. And so people critiqued the contrast between the gown and her skin as like lurid.
Yes. But also a great example of just the class symbolism of a tan or no tan at the time and how that has changed so much. Like that was signaling like wealth and excess.
Totally.
In its like bright whiteness.
Yeah, so it was, like, very scandalous, and it was actually, like, a huge career setback for Sargent at the time,
Mm.
and has gone on to become one of his most famous works. It's considered, like, the American Mona Lisa because it's just, like,
Mhm.
mysterious in a similar way,
Mhm.
scandalous in a similar
Yeah.
way. So, anyway, Lauren Sanchez
Mm.
obviously had to wear, a custom Schiaparelli gown where she
Yeah,
cosplayed as Madame X, poorly, I will say, because she didn't even put her hair up.
really. No,
If
and
we're
it's
gonna
just like
reference, let's reference. The hair is
when
updo,
we're talking
updo.
about tailoring and too tight, I'm like, the dress
Well,
didn't
yeah, that
it was
too.
so tight, it didn't even look good.
But that was expected to me. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
she has the same Kim Kardashian syndrome where
Yeah.
it's like if every inch of the body isn't like fully visible
Yeah.
and exposed and strapped
Right.
in to within an inch of its life, is it really fashion? Like to
Yeah.
their minds, no,
Yeah.
apparently.
No.
To Lauren Sanchez's credit, I will say Claire Foy wore an Erdem dress that was also a reference to Mad Max, and it was much worse. So
Was it? I gotta look
yeah.
up the
So
picture.
to her credit, at least one person was worse dressed version than her. But also not to her credit, Julianne Moore also did a Madame X reference, and she did it in custom Tom Ford with Monsieur Tom Ford as her date. And I kind of think that's like the
Ooh.
definition of being body slammed. Like you can't compete with. Sorry,
I'm
you can't compete with that.
surprised that so many people did the same like, don't you
Yeah.
communicate? Isn't there, like, a group chat about, like, what
Well,
piece of art are you
so
referencing?
this was also my pet theory that Anna Wintour hates her because like
Yeah,
historically, famously, the party line has always been that Anna hand approves every outfit
right.
that every celebrity wears on the red carpet, specifically to avoid
Yeah.
situations like this where multiple people are wearing the same thing
Mhm.
or look the same or it's going to cause embarrassment. And so
Yeah.
for three people to show up in the same reference to me,
Yeah.
either she hates her or she's, like, seriously slacking
But you must hate
in
all
her
3
pseudo
of them.
retirement.
Like
Well, I do feel like yes, I think she hates at least Lauren Sanchez and Claire Foy. I would argue if you're setting up anyone against Julianne Moore, like,
yeah.
aesthetically, like,
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
wishing for their downfall.
Yeah. This is true. Okay. Yeah.
Like, Knowing Julianne Moore is coming in custom Tom Ford, it's like you are preying on those women's downfall because they will
Mhm.
forever be portrayed side by side with, like, perfection in a way that's gonna be, like, crushing. So I don't
Yes.
know. I don't know what her beef with Claire Foy is though, but I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
Um, I guess we'll just rifle through some more. There's something showgirl afoot on the red carpet as well.
Mhm.
Lena Dunham and Valentino, Nicole
Yeah.
Kidman and custom Chanel, a whole lot more
Feathers, feathers.
feathers. Mostly, I just kept thinking that Lena Dunham's Valentino is like what I was waiting for Taylor Swift to wear literally her entire album cycle,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
never got it.
I know, we
And
never
that's
got
literally
anything.
all I wanted to see was something like that. A
Mhm.
lot of men doing Tom of Finland, a lot of leather suits, which I
Yeah.
guess again
Okay.
it's appropriate, but again I was like, and where was this at camp? Where was
Mhm.
this when we were doing camp? Seems
Mhm.
so easy, and yet a huge trend of the night was like dangly bits and bobs. I genuinely don't know how to
Yeah.
summarize that for people except just like chains of jewels like dangling off people's arms for no reason. It
It's
looked
kind
very
of like,
dumb.
bag charms for the body.
Bag charms for the body is a perfect way of putting it. It felt
Yeah.
bag charmed for the body. It
Mhm.
was very annoying. It honestly ruined a lot of outfits for me.
Yeah.
Tyla did it. The worst one to me was Emily Blunt, where this like $500,000 necklace that was heinous. And it kind of was like a body chain. Emily Blunt just catching strays from me left and right. But
Yeah.
it was kind of a body chain, wore atop this like mock turtleneck thing. It was not a good thing. I did not like it. And then we also got Sabrina Carpenter had like some jewelry dangly bits
Oh,
hanging
yeah, I
off her arms.
didn't
And I will say to Sabrina Carpenter's credit, this is maybe the first Met Gala outfit I've ever liked of hers. It had a lot of problems, but it was like
Yeah,
way better. Especially than that like ringmaster
the ringleader one,
circus. The circus look was so atrocious. This was a radical improvement. It was custom Loewe, and they made it from what I thought was cool is they made it out of film strips from the Audrey Hepburn movie Sabrina.
yeah,
And I thought that
yeah,
was cool. And the way that they rendered the real film strips into like a fabric, I thought was incredibly. Again, fashion is art.
right, yeah, mhm, mhm,
I thought that was extremely cool. They did way too much with it. They like paired it with this big bustle thing and this bejeweled sheer skirt and this flapper headpiece.
the
And
headpiece was like, I don't
the
know, it
headpiece
was a little
was
too much for me,
it was a
for my
little too
taste.
much. But again, I will say, best best work her hairstylist has done maybe ever. Her hairstylist I've had big beef with for a long
Yeah.
time, and I thought her hair looked great. So I will give her that
Yeah.
credit.
Okay.
It was on theme for the night. The shoes were atrocious and unforgivable.
I don't
They were
remember the shoes.
massive suede platform clodhopper heels. Let it
Okay.
go. Let it
Yeah.
go. Let her be
You know.
short. Let her be short. Again, it's a custom garment. It's a
Yeah.
custom garment.
Yeah. Just make it to fit her.
She's 5 feet tall. You're not
Yeah.
fooling anyone. She is 5 feet tall. Like,
We all
let it
know.
exist.
Yeah.
Anyway, what else do I have to say? Katy Perry pissed me off. I don't need to talk about her.
Okay. Yeah, I
Ugly.
don't care.
Ugly on every dimension. Even it wasn't the way I thought it was going to be ugly, and it was still ugly. I hated it. The Kardashians, fake nipples. We talked about it.
Okay.
Kendall and
Skims propaganda, though. Okay, this is
Skims
what I wanted to
propaganda out
say.
the
Is like,
wazoo.
they coordinate that obviously because we have Kendall, Kylie, Kim all wearing
Yeah.
fake nipples.
Yeah. But none of them
and
skims. None of them
None
skims
of them
nipples.
skims,
which is
except
crazy.
it's kind of like similar to the tanning thing in Allure.
Yeah.
If you're
The simulacrum of
popularizing the look
Skims.
of fake nipples,
Yeah.
the most accessible way to sell that look for other people to get is through Skims. So I feel like,
Yes.
I don't know, I'd be curious to see if there was a Skims faux nipple bra
Uptick.
boom post Met Gala.
Yeah. I also think it's like part of what I've always argued about what they do kind of with other high fashion brands and with like artistic masterpieces. I wrote about that
Yeah.
for Art News, but the way they like flatten all of these artists and all of these luxury brands back into their own brand where it's
Their
like,
own.
right, like these are all, this is Schiaparelli, this is Gap Studio, this is another artist, Alan Jones. Yeah, Alan Jones that they're wearing. But yet all of it becomes Skims, right?
Mhm.
As the same way I talked about like Kim making Panta shoes. Well, at the same
Yeah.
time that she's the face of Balenciaga, she
Yeah.
is making Panta shoes for Skims that are indistinguishable from the Balenciaga Panta shoes she's wearing every day because she's intentionally conflating those two brands until you can't tell what is
Yeah.
Balenciaga and what is Skims.
Yeah.
And I talked about this too with Kylie wearing. She made a knockoff of these Isabel Marant
The
pants,
Isabel
and then
Marant pants.
and
Yeah.
then she wore the real Isabel Marant pants on the same day that her fake pants were being released. Again, conflating
Yeah.
the two brands in a way that I find boggling that any luxury brand would want to
Right.
work with her or that this would be something that would benefit their bottom line. And yet they do. So I don't know.
Well, it does benefit, and I will volunteer myself as tribute for proof because I tried to buy both the Isabel Marant pants and the Kylie Jenner ripoffs because I love the pants. I love the pants.
They're
And once
really
I
nice.
saw them through
They're
through the discourse that her Isabel Marant knockoff pants
through the
generated,
Kai looking glass.
I was like, I've got to find these pants on the Real.
Yeah.
Cannot
Best of
find
luck.
them.
No.
And then, okay, on the Kai site, I'm sure the rest of them were just sold out, but the only size that they had available for pre-order was like extra, extra small. It's like, this is rude. But anyway, the fake nipple on the Kardashian thing reminded me of the interview I did with MJ Corey, who talked about like how the Kardashians are always doing the simulacrum thing. Like she said, they already had naturally long dark hair, but now it's all extensions. Kim and the Kardashian sisters had curvy figures, but then they surgically modified them allegedly. So it's like replicating things that already exist on them is like the Kardashian signature. So I thought that was interesting. Yeah.
I mean,
and
MJ's
then
a genius.
Adjacent to that, which I guess is just par for the course when you're doing fake nips, a lot of fake belly button.
Yeah.
You know?
You gotta have a fake belly button.
But
otherwise it's weird.
Had fake belly button. Hailey Bieber had fake belly button. Heidi Klum.
Kendall did too.
Yeah. Oh, did she?
Kendall had it. I don't think you saw it on the red carpet, but she removed the top layer for the after parties. And then I actually was going to talk about this in the newsletter and then I deleted it because I was like, I don't feel like explaining myself. But something I thought was actually quite odd about the dress, that the corset that was revealed of Kendall's in the after party, is not only did you have the fake belly button, but you actually had like fake indents of her rib cage and the fake indents of her hip bones jutting out. And so I was like, you've actually like built in kind of like a sick body feature of like thinness into this corsetry in a way that I find like really unsettling. Yeah, the emaciation is built into the corsetry in a way that's like actually quite alarming.
Yeah. Ooh, I gotta look that up.
I don't know. It was creepy to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I found that interesting. I guess the last thing I'll just say, I'd like to just talk about Kim for a second,
Mhm.
who proved to me that
Mhm.
she truly has no conception of herself or understanding of her brand or how to successfully market herself in this world, because she doesn't. It's not even that this outfit was bad. This outfit was honestly the best she's done in a long, long time. It's that she
Yeah.
doesn't understand what she's doing, and she made that so fucking transparent to me when she flubbed like the most obvious, incredible, viral moment that she could have created for herself. So she wore this Alan Jones sculpture that is like a molded chest piece, and then she wore this weird little skirt over the top of it, which I already thought
Mhm.
the skirt was a mistake.
Yeah,
She should have
I
had her
agree.
ass out, obviously, but
Mhm.
she doesn't like having her ass out because she can't control the retouching of the images, obviously. That's why she doesn't like having her body exposed at
Yeah.
an event like this where
Okay.
she doesn't own the paparazzi. Um,
Interesting. Yeah.
but then she posted this carousel of like other looks of Alan Jones that she like almost wore. She was like doing a weird like Met Gala lookbook on Instagram,
Mhm.
which is where she actually revealed that she chose the most boring of the three looks that she was kind of offered. And she showed this other option that I actually think is so obviously the correct option for the Met Gala, which was not only a molded chest piece, but it went all the way down the front of her body. But it was like a bifurcated, like 50-50 half and half dress. So the whole back of it was ass out nude. And the whole
Oh
front
my
was molded
god.
metal. The whole front was perfectly molded metal. And so she couldn't bend her legs at all. Like she couldn't move in it. So that's why I think she didn't
She
choose it.
never
But I'm like,
minds that. She, like, always
exactly.
can't move.
I was like, when has that
Interesting.
literally ever stopped you before? And literally the whole red carpet is lined with like strong young men to like lift
Yeah,
these women,
yeah.
to like teleport them up the
Mhm.
steps. So it is like literally the one occasion to wear something you can't walk in. And it
Yeah.
looked so insanely good. I can't express to you. So I was already like, you flubbed it. You
Yeah.
messed up. Like
Yeah.
you picked the wrong dress. You don't understand what you're doing. Also, she is single white femaling Nadia Lee Cohen in a way that Nadia Lee Cohen should be so scared. If people don't know who that is, she's
I
a
don't know who that
photographer.
is.
She's a very, very famous photographer who Kim has worked with extensively. She did that whole Santa baby in the
Oh,
crack
yeah.
den
Mhm.
crawling through the abandoned house.
Mhm.
That's Nadia Lee Cohen.
Okay.
That's very much her aesthetic. And Kim has kind of ripped her whole aesthetic for Skims. It's mostly Nadia who's shooting it all. And now in that Met Gala lookbook, she literally could not look more like Nadia. Like she did her hair in the same, her wig, excuse me, in the
Yeah.
exact same color, in the exact same hairstyle that Nadia always wears her hair in. And I was like, run, girl, run. Like she is siphoning your soul. Like, I don't know how else to
Yeah.
explain it. Anyway, so I already was like, she chose the wrong dress. And then I realized she really doesn't understand herself or her brand, because she walked out of the Mark Hotel arm in arm with the artist Alan Jones, which, if you've
Mhm.
seen Alan Jones, he's like probably 80. And he's just he's an old British man, and he looks like an old British man. And there's
Yeah.
something about the juxtaposition of seeing them side by side that I'm like, that is everything. Like, that is genius. Like, just to
Yeah.
see a real authentically aged artist next to
Yeah.
the extreme
Right.
plastic
Oh,
controlled,
yeah.
plus in the metal molded bodysuit of it all that he
Mhm.
makes. And I was like,
Mhm.
there's something about this that's so unbelievably powerful. And then
Yeah.
she abandoned him at the hotel. He literally puts her onto the Sprinter van and she goes, bye,
Well,
bye.
and
And I was like,
speaking of
no.
art, that's like a very common thing. I'm like, I'm blanking on the artists, but I was going through some of the art books I have because, well, I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm in a different room today.
I
I've
have
moved my
noticed.
office. So I have to decorate, I have to put stuff up. So I've been going through some of my art books to be like, what prints do I want to frame and put up here? And I have a couple, again, I can't remember the artists. Maybe I'll remember and put in the show notes that are riffing on this theme of like youth and death
Yeah.
together. So it's like a
Yeah.
young, beautiful woman and like a skeleton.
I love
Or
it.
there's one that's like 3 stages of woman and death, and it's like a baby, a maiden, a crone, and a skeleton. So like that is a
Yes.
very like artsy concept that she could have riffed on too. That, I mean, that would have been so cool to see
It would
at
have been
the Fashion is Art.
so cool and so powerful. And also, I don't know, I think just like bringing him as her date when she's like famously now dating Lewis Hamilton, the F1
Yeah.
race car driver, like instead of bringing him, bringing this old man.
Mhm.
And it reminded me both of Summer Walker last year at the VMAs brought an old man as her date, like her sugar daddy, and it was a funny little stunt. And then also I was just thinking about the iconic Anna Nicole Smith wedding photos of
Oh,
her
yeah.
being, like 20 or whatever, and her husband in
Mhm.
his wheelchair. And I was just thinking about how powerful that imagery is still to this day,
Yeah.
and what a pop
Yeah.
culture moment. And I was like, oh, Kim like totally missed out on this obviously viral
Yeah.
imagery, and also like just this potent meme potential. Like I can just see
Mhm.
girls sharing that and be like, me and my
No.
sugar daddy this summer,
Yes.
like,
Yes.
and to not understand your own media spectacle, I think is kind of the most unforgivable crime to me. Like to
Yeah.
not, I don't know, it goes
Hmm.
beyond wearing a bad outfit. It's like you
Mhm.
genuinely don't understand how your fame
Yeah.
operates, and like what is powerful about you as a brand,
That's
and like
so
that's unforgivable
fascinating.
to me.
Yeah. Wow. I would have loved to have seen it.
Anyway, that's my Met Gala recap.
Yeah, I think I was surprised at the lack of like high concept makeup looks, beauty looks.
Yeah.
I really thought people were going to play with the idea of beauty as art, but overall, I actually feel like they leaned into the fashion as art and beauty as like the blank canvas on which to play,
Yep.
which was simultaneously like heartening and disappointing because I was like,
Yeah.
there could have been some fun artsy beauty looks, but I think for the
There
most part,
were
people kept it like
almost
very
none.
simple. Yeah.
Yeah. They're like, look, I'm wearing an
Um,
outfit. It's art.
yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
The end,
Okay.
but
The end.
boring overall. The Met Gala of fake nips is how I will remember it.
How it will always be remembered in history, I
Mhm.
assume.
Mhm. Yeah. Mess of the month? Time for mess of the month?
Yeah, my mess of the month is really simple. It's
Okay.
Elena Lenina, who has a long time been a mess muse par excellence. She's this
Mm.
Russian lady. I don't really even know how to explain. I call her the Queen of Cannes because for some reason she goes to Cannes every single year. She's not in anything. She hasn't been in anything in probably 20 or
What
30
does she do
years.
there? Oh, she's an actress.
Actress is
No?
a strong word for what Elena is. She's a
Okay.
socialite. She's just a
Okay.
figure that looms large in my imagination. She attends every year. I assume she just has like a friend who like gets her a ticket, or she's on a
Yeah.
board or something. And yeah, she just wears increasingly insane hairstyles, and that's kind of her claim to fame. And she knows it. See, there's someone who understands their brand and
Mhm.
what
Mhm.
people are coming there for.
Yeah.
Every single red carpet, she gives you a different hairdo, a different volume, and a different height. And that's what
Okay.
she's about. And people love
Yeah.
her for it. And I love her for it. And this year, she did one that I thought was very fun, where she basically took like kind of I don't know why, but it really makes me think of Pier 1 imports, because I feel like they would always sell
I love it already.
they would always sell these kind of orbs that are made out of sticks that you might
Uh-huh.
place in the garden, or you might place in kind of like a rustic tablescape. And
Yeah.
so Elena took one of those and put it on her head, and then she kind of wove her real hair into it and around it, and then just like bobby pinned it aggressively to this orb. And then in the center of the
Okay.
orb, she put some flowers, some rose. I don't know if they were real or not. I assume they weren't real, but she kind of just tossed some
Oh, I'm
floral
looking at
elements
it
in
right
there.
now. Wow.
And I
Uh-huh.
think it's really gorgeous.
This is
And I
like,
love her. And sometimes she does a
you're
Bride of Frankenstein thing where she just does kind of like a
I can see that.
bouffant that sticks straight up into the air. And I
I
really like
can
that.
see that.
And it's always very stiff. And I do get the feeling that like I don't know how much a professional hairstylist is involved in these, and I kind of love the
Mm.
homespunness of the
Yeah, the
updo,
DIY nature.
the
Yes, this feels
DIY
like a
nature of the updo.
DIY, version of, like, the Simone Rocha flower, see-through dresses, but, like, as applied to
Yes,
hair.
as a hairdo,
Yeah,
yes. And then
I like it.
who's that lady who I always bring up?
Oh, yes, I know who you're talking about.
It's Yulia Tymoshenko coded.
Julia.
Because also iconically, Elena has this one look where she did these like big kind of like opera braids, and then like
Yes.
wove them around her hair into like a sculptural kind of,
Mhm.
those things that you put your face through and you take a photograph?
Yes, yeah.
It was very that, but done with like
Mhm,
big, thick, fake braids of hair.
mhm.
And it's very, yeah, Yulishenko coded
Yeah,
to me.
it
Very
is.
milkmaid.
Yes, I can see it. I can
Anyway,
see it.
that's just, yeah, it's just a lady that I love, and she's my mess of the month. And I
Okay,
encourage you all to go back and look at her many looks through the years because they're brilliant.
it's worth
They're
it. Yeah,
beautiful.
they're really
It's
good.
definitely worth it. Yeah.
My mess of the month, as foreshadowed before, is Rosie O'Donnell. Rosie O'Donnell got a facelift. She's 64. She announced it on Substack last week in the form of a poem. And I honestly, I just can't even talk about it for that long because it's I'm not even mad. I'm just for some reason, this post made me want to quit everything. I'm just
You
what's
gotta
the
love
point?
that rollout, though. You
What's
gotta
the
love that
point?
rolled out plan. Not only am I going to write a poem, I'm going to publish it on Substack.
Okay,
Thank you, Rosie.
I have to do a reading of some of it. I'm not going to read the whole thing.
This is your Brian Johnson
This
erotic
is my
poetry
Brian Johnson.
moment.
I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I just there's some things that just need to be heard in her voice. Okay.
Agreed.
I used to feel very strongly about facelifts, not casually, morally. I had assigned myself as head of all women who would never, ever. I thought it was a betrayal of feminism, of aging, of our team of women worldwide. And then I lost 50 pounds.
And then I got hot, you dummies.
It wasn't wrinkles. It was gravity. I'd look in the mirror and think, this isn't aging. This is melting with intention. It goes on. This is a new part. She's talking to her daughter about this. She sounded exactly like me, like my younger, more certain, more morally rigid self had somehow moved into my house and was now judging my essence because the daughter didn't want to go to facelift.
Sure.
And then I had this quiet realization. If I'm teaching Clay anything, it can't be that my body belongs to an idea either, even a good idea, even feminism, because that's still not freedom. That's just a different authority telling you what you're allowed to do with your own face.
I don't think it is.
I wanted a limit. I wanted to still be me, just less haunted. And it worked. I do look like me. A slightly more well-rested, emotionally stable version of me. I'm quite pleased with the whole thing. And guess what? No one has noticed. Not one person. Not a friend, not a stranger, not even people who owe me compliments. My teenager has not said a word, nothing. I went through a full existential feminist crisis, had my face and neck surgically altered, and the result is Zippo, which honestly is the best possible outcome. I didn't disappear. I didn't become someone else. I just stopped arguing with the mirror, and maybe that's enough.
She became
this is but a small portion. There's so much I want to say. I almost feel like nothing needs to be said. Anybody who would be worth me addressing already knows how insane this all is. So whatever. But first of all, I cannot think of one public feminist who says you are not allowed to get a facelift. Facelifts are the norm in public life. They are encouraged by society. It is so stupid and wrong to dismiss decades
feminism
of
is a trap.
Feminist thought about beauty standards as you're not allowed. You are allowed. You are allowed. Yeah. Many public feminists do. Jane Fonda is your elder. Have you learned anything? Yeah. And it's and you're allowed to get a facelift, and people are allowed to judge your actions according to their own ideals. We're all allowed to do that.
And feminism is still just an ideology of equality. You know what I mean? It's not this is part of the problem of our modern conception of feminism too, is I feel like it gets warped into it's this doctrine that's telling you that facelifts are evil and you're a bad woman if you get one. It's okay, so that's literally not what feminism is or is about.
If there is any discourse happening, it's pointing to the fact that you feel pressured to get a facelift or you believe you desire a facelift because of intersecting forces such as sexism, ageism, and fat phobia. And it's worth critiquing those systems.
Yeah, and it's not worth examining your internalized beliefs about
And it's just feminism. Proper feminism is not you're not allowed to participate in these systems. It's pay attention to how these systems are shaping our literally for her sense of self. You literally don't believe that you exist as yourself, which is crazy.
Yes, that your face isn't you. That it's something else, and you have to get a medical intervention in order to return to you.
Look like
always
you.
Very
I think it's
interesting to me because I'm always well, who
are you
is
now?
It that's looking in the mirror, right? What do you think is you got to that place via time,
and
yet Right. There's this
I just
return of like, well, the
think this
real me was 20
idea of
years old
looking
forever.
right. This idea of looking like yourself is not different, like, spiritually than any of the male gaze stuff. Like, you are yourself always. You definitionally always look like yourself. It is a lie that your true self looks different in a way that conforms to society's beauty standards. It is a lie that
Yes.
you only look like yourself when you look better or
Young.
younger or rested or healthy or whatever. Like, entire books have been written about each of those aesthetics and like how like what we think looks healthy isn't necessarily
Totally.
like
Totally.
I just don't understand how like any like smart, not even smart, like average person
Well,
could
just
use these
but what if nobody
defenses.
noticed? What if nobody noticed that she got a facelift? And so it
This is the other thing. The thing about no one noticing kills me because it's like you are still glorifying this like quote unquote natural standard of get the
Yeah.
work, but don't look like you've gotten the work done. Like
Yeah.
looking like you've had work done is the bad thing. Cosmetic work that looks like cosmetic work is bad work, and cosmetic work that doesn't look like cosmetic work is good work. And like you are reinforcing the ideal through this whole thing about the best thing about my facelift is no one noticed. And it kind
Which
of
also,
reminds me, do you
just like
remember
in
Lindy
a piece about
West?
shame, I think that's also like insane.
It's so
Like, I
crazy.
got
It's
away with it and therefore it's
nonsensical.
good.
It's nonsensical. And now I can admit to you that I got away with it
Right.
because you can't say gotcha.
Exactly. But also,
But
I
it,
guarantee you people did notice. I guarantee you people
yeah,
noticed a difference and they just didn't say it out loud to you. And so you think you've gotten away with something that actually like everyone noticed and internalized as a
yeah.
truth.
And what it made me think of was Lindy West's first like very viral essay. Do you remember this? It was when she was writing for, I think, The Stranger. So it was an essay about like fatness and asserting her right to exist in a fat body and be like
Oh,
treated
maybe I do actually.
like respect
Yeah.
and like get health insurance from her employer and stuff like that. But it ended with the paragraph about, and the funny thing is, as soon as I stopped worrying about my weight, I lost weight. And it's like we're just so far gone that even criticism of beauty standards is infected with the
Comes
underlying
back.
beauty standards. Like it
Totally.
all kind of like cancels itself out at some point. And it's just, I don't know. I know I sound angry and I guess I am, but my overall
It's very
feeling is just like, I
frustrating.
don't fucking care. Like do whatever you want. No one's telling you you're not allowed to get a facelift. But yeah, I don't think that you should be allowed to like propagandize it as being yourself. Your true self doesn't have a facelift. I'm sorry. Your true self is whatever you are currently.
Yeah. It
Like,
also
and her true self now does have a facelift. Like, is
right,
the thing.
right.
Like, you are yourself now,
Right.
Rosie. I'm not saying you're not the real you. You are exactly yourself
You're
right
you with a
now as you
facelift.
are.
With a
And
facelift.
you were also you before.
Yeah.
Like, this has not brought you closer to your true self. And if you feel it has, that's in how society is maybe looking at you or treating you, or how you are looking at yourself or treating yourself because of internalized ideas. And I think it's more important to like talk about those things than be like,
Absolutely.
everyone's allowed to get a facelift and no one should judge you.
Also, like, again, cynically, my celebrity like PR brain is like, right, of course it's safe to make pronouncements like this, right? It's part of the Kylie Jenner thing of like, oh yeah, I had a
Yeah.
boob job 10 years ago. And it's like, right,
Mm-hmm.
now it feels like there's this weird performative transparency that's popular. So it's like safe and good PR to come forth about like, oh, I had so much shame, but like
Yeah.
now I'm sharing my truth. It's like it's just a PR strategy ultimately. Like
It's just
it's
a
not
PR
really
strategy.
about
And
feeling one
also,
way or the other.
it's not new. There was like a Sassy
No.
magazine article in like the 90s that was like, I'm a feminist and I got a facelift.
I know.
And it's just
This has
like,
been the dichotomy
this is
for as
like
long as we've been doing
banal
it.
too. And it's like
It's
masquerading as
boring.
like revolutionary. I
Yeah,
don't know.
it's boring.
But
It's lazy.
oh, Rosie.
Oh,
Rosie, Rosie,
Rosie.
Rosie.
Makes for a good mess of the month, though.
I guess so. Yeah, I'm done. We've talked so much.
So long. Maybe our longest pod ever.
I think
Apologies,
so.
everyone.
This is what happens when we don't have like external gossip sessions throughout the month when we're too busy
We
to like
are, and this is
shoot
like
the
us
shit on
being
other days.
See, this is also like us with the Met Gala theme. It's like we need tighter parameters. Someone needs to rein us in and lock us down, or others it's a
Yeah.
wide-ranging conversation.
Maybe we should challenge ourselves for the summer. Just like
Narrow
put
purview.
some boundaries. Put some boundaries on our recordings.
Strict
but
themes. No boundaries, no rules. We won't be tamed. It's our
Thanks for
pod, and we'll say.
listening. Yeah. You know what? I will say some recommendation. I've never really done this before, but I've started listening to podcasts on like 1.5 speed. Incredible. I listen to so many long podcasts, and it's like, I don't need to hear all their
brain, though.
I love it. But
I know,
I don't know.
I love it too. I do it too.
Manic lately. Maybe it's because
I do it with YouTube videos and like social media videos a lot, but I do feel like it's ruined me for normal speed things is how I feel. I'm like, I think that's what I mean. I think it's worsening my brain because I'm like, I expect everything now to be at that pace, and then I'm like, why is this so slow? And I'm like, oh, they're talking at like a normal. I do it to myself. I'm talking about myself included because I watch back my YouTube videos at 2x because I don't want to listen to myself or hear myself. And then when I hear myself speaking at normal speed, I'm like, snooze alert, like so slow. Like, what's happening? And then I'm like, oh, right, you're just listening to everything at 2x.
Okay, well, do it at your own risk, but I like
everyone listen at your own speeds out there. Do it. Listen to us at whatever speed you want. I don't care. I understand.
And we'll see you next month.
We'll see you next month. You've had enough. Goodbye.
Bye.